Well, hello everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back to another Rough Reviews and Closeted Anime production. You got me, your boy Rough Reviews Terry on that side, and I got Freddie here with me with Closeted Anime.
What's going on?
Awesome. Welcome back. Before we get started, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channels, my channel, his channel, and definitely jump in and leave comments and join us. We love having people to conversate with us, and it's a lot of fun. It's much more fun that way. We got a nice little video here. I haven't seen it yet. It was brought to us by Closet Anime, so I'm looking forward to what it has to talk about. However, before we get started, I just want to say I got my second episode of Philandroids well underway. It's in the final touches of its production. It's got some sound effects and things like that to put in, some coloring effects. But other than that, it's coming your way soon. So look out for that. Episode 1 is out right now. You can go to the channel. You can see the edited version. It's got all the funny little sounds. And you can see the uncut version. It's got all the adult humor you want to hear. So I would love your support and help with that. I would really appreciate it. Let's see. One other thing I want to say, being a review channel, I've been watching this anime. I said it before. Is Yaiba on Netflix. I think it's coming to some of its final episodes. It comes out every Saturday, every week. And man, it's got some high octane action, some Gurren Lagann, Studio Trigger kind of stuff going on. If you haven't checked it out yet, go to Netflix and check it out. They should be paying the advertisement for this, but we'll take what we can get. But that's all I got for now. I just want to share with all of you. Got some, anime that I'm watching there. But anything you want to shout out, Freddie? Anything you want to talk about or say before we get into it?
No, not at the moment.
Okay, awesome. Well, all right, let's dive into this. It says, let's see, Andrew Tate debates Bonnie Blue. Is she like an adult film star or something like that? Or what is she?
Yes, she does the OF content.
OF. I was like, I've heard the name before. Not that I partake, but but I'm pretty sure I've heard it somewhere in my channel somewhere before. So all right, let's see what it's about. Oh, here, I don't think I need to do the full screen. I think it's fine.
Bonnie Blue sleeping with 1,057 men. Damn.
How honest should I be out of 10?
I want you to be honest.
You want to be honest?
Is that her?
Go on.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand why men sit here and try and lecture you about it. I don't understand why men sit here and say you shouldn't do it. It's your body, your choice, right? This is the world we now live in. This is the end result of feminism.
Yeah,
you are the perfect end result of feminism. In the world I believe in the conservative, traditionally masculinely ruled world, a man would be in charge of his daughters until they're handed over to their husbands or boyfriends, and there would be a degree of masculine guidance. But feminism didn't want that.
Yeah.
Women complain that men don't want to get married. We did actually want to get married when we got obedient virgins, but they disappeared. And they complained about the patriarchy, and they were tired of us giving them a house to live in and kids to raise, and they wanted to make their own choices.
Yeah.
So she's making her own choice. That's a fantastic thing. I actually have a lot of respect for you because you own it and you're honest about it.
What if it was your daughter?
Well, that won't happen.
But she's her own person.
I never said my daughter was her own person.
Already, it's we're already in this. You know what I like about Andrew Tate is he's so hard. It's like he's so concrete in his stance, and when you try to trip him up, he doesn't really trip. He just kind of like steps over your obstacle with his debate skills.
He's very quick-witted.
Yes, and he's like, "Oh yeah, dude, yeah, you wanted this." Like he's setting the foundation is what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
He has said that, okay, I believe, and what it should have been is this very traditional style. But you, girl, you do your thing. Feminism said you can do this. So now he's setting the basis of what feminism is and what traditionalism is. And now we're this host is attacking his belief, and he's challenging his belief and that baseline. So now we're gonna get into the conflict. I see what's going on here.
Yeah, he's playing out what it will become, and the conclusion. You know, if you play it all the way out to the end, this is what you'll end up with. Yeah. And I think that's what a lot of people should do when it comes to like critical thinking is, okay, what does this ideal play out to when it's implemented, when it's fully fleshed out all the way to the end? What will we end up with? And that's the end result product of what you end up with is, you know, like this Super Saiyan level feminist, essentially. Like she is the boss.
Yeah. All right.
I said women want to be their own people. But my point is, there's so many women who go to Magaluf for a weekend and do something very similar, and then they come back to England and get with some fucking guy and start asking for presents from him and talking about how they deserve a traditional relationship and they want to get married and they want a Christmas present and all this bullshit. Most women do exactly what Bonnie does. I don't see you any different than most women. And I'm not saying that in a degrading way.
Most women don't sleep with 1,057 men in a day.
1,000?
What's the
Does
difference?
it matter?
I think it does.
I don't really think it does. It's all disgusting to me.
Wow. There it is. That was a perfect moment. Wow. That was. Oh. Wow. Okay. I mean, so if you go in a very black and white state of things, 1, 1,000, 5, 10, 100, doesn't matter. It's all the same. If you follow a traditional mindset, if less is better, then that's But if you break the seal, then the seal's broken. The milk is spilled. It doesn't matter what you do at that point.
Yeah, that genie's never going back in the bottle. Like, you know,
back in. Yeah,
that's usually what ends up happening, right? That they go through something, they go through an experience. People generally, once you go through certain types of experiences, like there's no return from that thing. And unfortunately, a lot of people nowadays are going through certain types of experiences that will basically curate their personality negatively. And then they're trying to still move about while trying to date and trying to find a wife or a husband, and they're just collecting more and more damage.
Yeah. All right, let's see what else he has to say.
If I met a woman and she said, I just sucked a dick yesterday, I'd say, well, I find you repulsive. I don't want to sleep with you. Goodbye.
So you're only going after virgins?
Well, it's not about only going after virgins, but I think if you're a straight man, the idea of having a bunch of men fuck a woman that you're with is pretty repulsive.
But everyone has a past.
But see, this is the kind of shit white people say. I don't know what's wrong with people.
Bro, wait a second. I just noticed, like, look at her skirt. Like I just noticed, because I didn't really look at her, but I just look at her. It's like you can see everything. There's no cover up. What is the point of it? There's no cover up. You're just that is a lot. That's a lot of skin, bro. But okay, I'm sorry. I just need to go.
I mean, you know, she's also advertising, right?
Oh, that is right. 1,000. She's going for 1,000. Yeah. Okay.
So, you know, like with every set of eyes that she can get, she could potentially garner a new customer.
Oh, yeah. It's marketing. Okay.
Marketing.
Yeah. All right.
Let's see, this is the kind of shit white people say. I don't know what's wrong with people. Everyone has a past. That's not acceptable. In fact, let's analyze that. Everyone has a past. You're right. Everyone does have a past. It's true. But isn't the primary objective of a man to find a woman with as little past as possible? Would you argue that's one of the precursors to finding a wife?
Absolutely. Well, he said it in a new baseline. You see that, right? So now, because you asked the question, because they're challenging him. It's like, oh, you just want virgins with 0, which the percentage is going to be very, very low. It's out there. Don't get me wrong. It is out there, y'all.
Yes.
But so now he can't argue that anymore. So now he has to reset with not zero, but as low as possible, as close to zero as possible.
And he did a very wise thing, right? Because usually in arguments, when or in debates, people will take your stance and then they'll try to move it to a far extreme because it's easier to defeat it if you move them to one of the extremes. And he's like, yeah, let's move it back to what I'm actually stating. Like, we understand that now today in society, it's going to be less frequent that you're going to come across someone who's chaste. It's going to be less frequent that you'll come across a chaste female. What I'm stating is you're not looking for that over there. You may not get chaste, but what we don't want is ran through. And so I like the fact that he reframes it so that they don't try to move him to the far side to defeat that stance, because it's easy to defeat it. Like, oh, you're looking for virgins, so that means everyone that you're messing with is virgins, correct? Like,
yeah, that's crazy. All right,
that wives were supposed to be virgins. This was the deal. The reason I'm proud of Bonnie, and I am genuinely proud of you. I like Bonnie. I like what she's doing, because the deal was.
Are you not like contradicting yourself here?
In what way?
Well, you're proud of her sleeping with 1,057 guys, but women should be virgins.
No, I'm saying that the social contract, the construct of society that made family function, was women were obedient virgins, and they found a man who provided for them, and they listened to that man. Women have then said, we don't like the patriarchy. We're tired of being provided for. We're tired of being taken care of. We don't want to listen to anybody. We want to make our own decisions. That was women and feminism that ended the traditional family unit. And now women can make their own decisions. Mm-hmm. So I'm glad that Bonnie's making her own decision.
Yeah,
I'm not here to
say, I take women back 100 years. I'm like, no, I'm the clear example of how to be empowered. I use my body. I do what I want, when I want. True. And this is the thing you've been banging on about for years. And when I get hate, like when I click on the comments of these women that are like, oh, you're taking us back 100 years. Then in their bio, it says stay-at-home mom of two. I'm thinking, what the fuck was you rooting for?
It actually makes absolutely no sense. You're not taking. This is the future. You know, all them T-shirts that they had back in the day that said the future is female. That's what Bonnie Blue is. Now, to normalize 1,000 bodies into one body, as what Andrew Tate is doing, I do not agree with that. I still think that the numbers, the low-ass numbers matter, baby, because we're so much in the future as females that to expect virgins is literally, it's impossible. And while I agree, watching podcasters talk to Bonnie Blue as if they're trying to fix her, it makes absolutely no sense. There should absolutely be content that is critiquing what the hell that she is doing, because if you allow women like her to just go unabated, critique-free, consequence-free, you're going to create more versions of them. Normalizing her level of degree of debauchery is the fall of that modern-day society.
Well, so the fallacy in that, though, there's a slight fallacy in what he's saying, in that the intention, the direction of society has to be going into that direction, though, because
you don't think society's moving in this direction?
Well, it is, but you can't look at it. You have to have Andrew's point of view on it. You have to kind of speak out of both sides of your mouth in this, in that, because what MTR just said is like, no, the low numbers do matter. I was like, well, why? It matters only in the traditional side of things.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You see what I'm saying? Yes. If you keep looking at the lens of traditionalism, yes, you are always going to have a problem with everything that happens in the way that it's going.
Yes, but the farther you move to like the whole liberal progressiveness, like it's just love is love. The past doesn't matter. If you look at it from that lens, then any number doesn't matter. Exactly. You shouldn't care about any number because it was before you. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Exactly.
I got you.
I think the only way you can take a defensive stance, is what I'll say, in these kind of conversations, is when it comes to you. How they kept trying to attack him. It's, oh, what if it was your daughter? And it's like, no, that wouldn't happen, because in my world it's traditional and it would never be feminism. But for you, I'm proud of you. Yeah, you stand by your thing, girl. You know.
Yeah, do your thing. Yeah.
It's gonna be Sodom and Gomorrah, baby. Anyway, let's keep going.
But you have just stayed at home.
Bonnie. See, this is the future.
Yeah.
This is the future. This is fantastic. It's exactly what Western society is headed to.
He's a
so why are we going to
feminist.
sit here and pretend this is not?
It is sarcastic.
Why are we going to sit here and pretend that most women who go on girls' holidays aren't doing something similar to what Bonnie does just because it's not on camera? Why are we going to sit here and pretend that these men who walk around with their wives in the pub in England, and they're like, oh, my wife, yeah, everyone has a past. Oh, no, she's done the same shit. What's the difference? Who gives a fuck, right? We're either going to care and accept that women are judged on their past and judged on their innocence and judged on their naivety and judged on these things like it used to be. Or we're going to sit and say it doesn't matter. Everyone has a past. Well, if everyone has a past, everyone has a past. Who gives a does it really matter?
So
anymore?
What would you do if it was your daughter, though?
But why are you asking an impossible question?
Well, it's not an impossible question.
Of course it is.
How?
It can't happen.
It can't.
But anything can happen.
It's against the laws of physics.
Come on, bro.
That's a good one.
It's against the laws of physics. Come on, bro. It's extreme. I could see him. It's extreme. That's extreme.
Yeah, it's great for viewing. It's very clippable. So he has very great clippable moments and different sayings, and it's great. But to your point, in this worldview, right? Yeah. If you are of the patriarchy or conservative, more type of mindset, it's like, look, I'm, presenting my children, my daughter, with the foundation for this belief set. So there's no other way but this.
Yeah. Yeah. It would take some real
outside influences. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a very, I think about the social and the mental dynamics you have to have in that household to be able to say it would never happen. Like, would you have to shackle her down, never let her see another human being? Like, because nature's going nature.
Yeah, and that's the one thing is that a lot of parents, I think what ends up happening generally is most people will, as they have family, children, as they get older, you'll find like where they were probably politically starts to shift more towards like conserving things. Mm-hmm. And they're like, hey, I'm wanting for my children to do less of these things that I don't agree with. And then the society is, you look at society as like a negative influence towards what you're wanting your children to emulate. And so it's kind of interesting because I've noticed it with myself, and I'm like, you know what? I don't like that right there. That show, that music, these TV things, these movies, like, you're not going to watch that. Like, I'm going to keep y'all right here in these kind of things. But now what I will do is from time to time, like when we drive around and we go to like different neighborhoods, I point out certain things, like certain people, and I'm like, hey, and I fill them in on different like world outside experiences so that they're not just completely, aloof to the world. Yeah. And I'm like, hey, look, there's consequences, and I might be telling you, hey, don't say that, don't do that right now. But in the outside world, someone might pop you in the mouth for saying something like that, like, hey, you might want to keep that thought to yourself. Other people don't respond the way that me and your mom will respond.
Right. That's good. Yeah. They need to, they be exposed to it.
I mean, if your daughter opened her legs and took 1,000 sticks, it's not impossible.
Of course it is.
What?
Why
the dicks
impossible?
would enter her body, therefore she's taken.
It's literally impossible for my daughter.
What, are you going to be there against your daughter saying that it's not entering it?
No, my daughter just wouldn't make that decision.
But why?
Because I still raise her in a household where she is masculinely guided, and she will be guided by me until I hand her over to some other man.
What's interesting about that is that Andrew Tate has been on record in saying that a father is not needed within presence of kids, right? And I think he was saying that in order to try to explain how often you would see him without children being present. But now he's saying that he's a masculine presence within a life. But I wonder if that is through digital means or more so now in reality, or he's shifting his talking points because one wouldn't make sense without the other.
It's gotta be a shift.
However, I believe when women are left to their own devices, they will only ever make stupid decisions.
Was mine a stupid decision?
I wouldn't say it's any more stupid than most decisions women make, to be honest with you. I think that most women, to some degree, are sex workers anyway. Like, I mean, let's be honest about it, right? Most women look at Miami or Dubai. What's your job? Oh, I've got a boyfriend. So your job is being a girlfriend. And why does he give you money? Because you give him sex. So most women are sex workers anyway, to be honest.
But isn't that what you said the family unit was?
Well, then you're a sex worker with one customer. Which is nice. I guess it's better. It's more efficient.
Why does he say it like that?
But what about if you're raising children? That's not sex.
Why does he say it like that?
It's to be a provocateur for certain. It's to be a provocateur. Now, it's unfortunate. I mean, it's great for comedic value, but I think it does kind of take away a little bit from some of the great points that he's making because, unfortunately, there's going to be people that are going to critique it.
Right.
And they're going to use this as a way to kind of chip away at what he's actually saying. And it's like, it's funny. It's funny.
It's funny.
It's not meant to be taken serious, but people will take it serious in order to try to undercut the argument that's being made. So
it's not what you say, it's how you say it, right? And his point is there's always an exchange of efforts. You might, like any relationship, any barter system, you give attention and time and some other things paid in return, like any job. So, of course, in any relationship, you give attention and time, and it's repaid with resources, whether it's food or other time or fun or whatever. In this case, a relationship of man and a woman, what is the woman? Because the problem with that is that a lot of people are a lot of women are going to take is that a woman's worth is only her body. And that's what she's giving. And then the only thing she can get with her body is money. That's not the case.
Yep.
Of course, other things are there. Her personality, her skill set, all those things are there too. And she's getting other things in return too. But it's just the problem here is that, especially in this case with Bonnie Blue, she is using specifically her body to specifically get money. So, and a lot of women can easily use their body to easily get money. So it's hyper focused in that realm. That's why he's using it that way. But that does not mean that the absence of evidence is evidence of absence in this case. So I just want to point it out.
Yeah, well, what you're going to have is people who are logical thinking and understand what he's doing and what he's saying. They'll be able to read in between the lines. It's unfortunate that the low vibrational thinking people, the people with like IQ of room temperature, are going to just take like, he said it's all sexual. Women are just reduced down to just their body. And so it's just, okay. All right. That's what you want to hone in on. You didn't want to go to any of the other points being made. Interesting.
Yeah. Okay.
It's work, isn't it?
No, that's being a mother.
Yeah.
All right. So that's interesting, Rob. Rob said this, not me. So they're either virgins, sex workers, or mothers. Are those the three categories?
I think you're putting words into my mouth.
I think that's what Rob just said. Those are the three categories.
I'm just sat in the middle.
And women have to choose to be one of them.
So is that what you think?
I think that when a woman becomes a mother, she has a purpose. And I think that women should be having children as soon as possible. And I think it gives their life a direction. And I think it's the most important thing to preserve society, especially if you want to talk about geopolitics and talk about race and all of these things. If you want to have a country that looks like the country it used to be, you need to have the original people from there having children. I think all of that is true. Absolutely. I think every day a woman goes without having kids is primarily a waste of time. But once again, what does it matter what I think?
Those are his
Rob,
views.
I've given up.
Exactly.
Rob, I've given up trying to save the world. I've
No,
given up. No, Rob. I've given up.
Haven't.
I've given up on misogyny and all this shit.
No, you haven't.
They attacked me with the Matrix. They keep throwing me in jail. I am now all for women empowerment. I think women should run around fucking as many men as they want. I like what Bonnie's doing. She's getting the bag. She's getting rich.
Sarcasm.
Most girls out here don't want to have kids. They just want to get Birkin bags and Instagram likes. Good.
Broken back.
I'm a feminist, pro-feminism. This is the world now. How the world's going to end up, who cares about the future?
See, women go around, use sex to their advantage, but then are happy to cry about it straight away, saying, oh, he took advantage of me. And it's like, you're the one that wanted to do sex to have like the job promotion, or you're the one that wanted to have sex to get more attention or try and be more liked. But then they cry about it. And that's what I get frustrated about. And even with
listen, the biggest critique of this portion of the interview is going to be Andrew Tate saying things such as, most women are like this. And he's liking it to actions like boyfriend in Dubai or Miami and kind of like what that exchange sort of means. But I think about it a little bit more simpler than that. I think about it as you look at a woman talk to you in public and then you go up on their digital footprint and their social media profile. I mean, shit, take a look at a cross section of what we would review on Pop the Balloon. How often, I would say it was over 50% of the time that we look at a woman that claimed God-fearing, right? That claim that they're looking for a boyfriend or relationship, and you can go see their ass up on their social media profile, thereby leveraging their sexuality as a component of the offering that they show to all of these men, detailing their past or detailing how they will leverage their sexuality, their vaginas, in order to get what the fuck that they want. And that's just the current state reality of the situation. And you got men now that actually want to get married, that want to pursue something with women, but the dating pool has absolute piss in it, degraded by modern day feminism. Modern day feminism has absolutely failed women. It's created this debaucherous, ridiculous ass normalcy amongst them.
With porn stars, like people in my industry, they'll do this for a few years, get the money, get the boob jobs, get the house. And then suddenly they go, oh my God, I was forced into the industry. Oh my God, someone took all my money.
Yeah.
Have you ever considered the job as a lawyer?
Yeah.
No.
She's good.
I could do with you. You're 100% right. So this
Andrew's trying to employ her.
Society, right?
I was about to say, is he patronizing her now? Like, I don't understand what is, like, there's one thing to be sarcastic, but now, like, I don't know.
I've heard this saying, it is pretty good. I think it's like the horseshoe theory, where different things, like for one, political, the political spectrum, it isn't on a linear line like most people like to kind of see it, where it's like the people are in the middle if you're moderate, and then as you move further to the left, you get far left extremists. If you move farther to the right, you get far right extremists, and they're on the fringes. They're far opposites of one another. Well, the horseshoe theory goes, well, instead of looking at it as a linear line, look at it more as a horseshoe, where as you move to the far right extreme and you move to the far left extreme, they're actually a lot closer and similar to one another than they are separate. And so you have someone like Andrew Tate, who people like to put as on the far right extreme, and you have someone like Bonnie Blue, who people would like to put on the far left fringe extreme. And then you look at their ideas and their ideology behind certain things, you're like, whoa, hold on, they're kind of sounding like they're in agreement on a lot of different things right now. And so I like that theory a lot more than looking at it as a linear line. Look at it more as a horseshoe. You get so far right where you get like these super extreme red pill guys, where then you look at these far ultra feminist women, and then you see like, man, if all you have to do is just interchange one or two different components of their arguments or their beliefs, you're like, yo, y'all are saying almost the same exact thing.
Yeah. Very. I'm gonna have to look that up. I haven't heard of it before. Okay.
Reason when I said I like what Bonnie does, because Bonnie completely 100% owns what she does, and she says it's my decision. And I've seen people try and lecture you. I've seen people sit there and try and lecture you.
A fool's errand.
And say like, oh, but you're a creature of God and you shouldn't be doing this. No, you should do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
It's up to you to do whatever you want. And you're not saying anybody tricked you into it. It's your decision. And let's be honest, when they talk about taking women back 100 years, let's actually be very honest here, Rob. No disrespect.
No disrespect.
There's always been whores.
It's the oldest profession.
Ancient Rome had whores. There's always been whores. The Aztecs had whores. You think there weren't concubines in the fucking Ming dynasty?
Concubine.
Fucking little Chinese pee-pee? Of course there were. There's always been whores. It's the
He's
oldest
trying not to
profession in
laugh.
the world.
Exactly.
So do you think it's a legitimate job?
Well, I mean, no, check her back.
Listen, not only is it was so whores back in the day, right? That's like a poor person's job. But due to the internet and media today,
It's probably
you could be a
rich.
digital
Yeah.
strumpet and e-thought
That's a good
and
point.
be a multimillionaire if done correctly. If you got the right marketing team behind you and you was blessed by the God that you have forsaken with the appropriate genetics, you could be a it's absolutely insane what the digitization of vagina has done for whores' bank accounts. It's absolutely insane, baby.
Bang, I'm sure she's making loads of money. So this is
I had no
here's
comment.
where do you
I
draw
can't
the
even
line?
comment on
Yeah.
If we're going to live in this false dichotomy, because the world was very simple once, not too long ago, and men had this terrible misogynistic view, which I, of course, don't agree with, that women can't make their own decisions because they're naturally chaotic, and when women decide anything, life's up. In fact, these men. In their disgusting, these men in their disgusting misogyny
Look at it.
believed if you gave women the vote, we'd end up with open borders and drag queen story hours. So they didn't give women the vote. Then they did give women the vote, and society took a particular direction. But when men were in charge of things, women didn't have to worry about what they can do with their life because their father took care of it, and then their husband took care of it. But now we live in a brand new world where women can make all of their own decisions, and the path she's chosen, I don't think is any different than most paths women take. I think she's just more honest about it and more upfront about it. If you're going to go to Dubai and meet a girlfriend and you think she hasn't been fucking for money the entire time she was living in Dubai, then you're an idiot. If you're in Miami and you got girls on your boat and you think they're not fucking for money all of the time, well, they may not say per hour, but they'll be fucking a guy they barely like to get the rent paid, or they're fucking a guy they barely like because he has a car.
Yeah.
So women are fucking for money all the time anyway. That's all women do now. The entire Western world is women fucking for money. So how?
Well, again, with this, you know, I think he's getting maybe a little heated.
Yeah, he's being very hyperbolic. Yeah.
Yeah, hyperbolic is definitely. I don't know if he's. To me, it seems like he's losing a little control of his emotion a little bit, and he's like becoming hyperbolic because now it went from most to all, and you know, we're just. It's like a full, like he's fully given up almost in his dialogue on women in general. It's you know, I gotta wonder if there's another side to this, and not just traditionalism and feminism. I wonder if there's more of a nature, a scientific, biological explanation. You know, I'm kind of reaching a little bit, but because I know a lot of it is nurture, right? Because again, there's a lot of people that don't do it, they're virgins until marriage or whatever, and society will train a lot of people to do it in middle school or high school or something. But I just wonder if there's some kind of scientific, you know, instinct in our brains that has made us want to just be out there, you know, like a peacocking or because I read something today about really random, but I'm gonna try to connect the dots here. I read something about pin needle worms or something, or horsehair worms. One of the most disgusting things I've ever seen in my whole life. And it was talking about how they're these worms and they're like parasites that go into bugs and live in their bodies, and it'll force them to jump in the water and they'll come out of the bug and look for a mate and stuff like that. It's crazy. And I just think about these worms don't have, you know, nature or nurture. They just do what their instincts and their biology has told them to do, is just go and find a mate, just go do these things, you know. Its nature is just what it is. And I wonder if that's us. Is this just who we are? Are we just these horsehair worms and we just have to put ourselves out there? This is a real stretch, but are we just putting ourselves out there? And, you know, we fighting against our nature to be celibate and monogamous and you know, traditional or whatever the case may be. Maybe Bonnie Blue's on to something. Maybe we shouldn't be holding back so hard to be the Andrew Tate and all this stuff, right? I mean, you hear what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying. If you're trying to like take on a counter position or juxtapose that idea, like what if what we're knowing as traditionalism is actually counter to the human nature?
Exactly.
I wouldn't say so, right? Because we have a natural disgust factor to knowing that someone that we would have an interest in pursuing for more than just sex, like you actually see this person as potentially being like a girlfriend or something. You have like a disgust reflex to, if you found out she was with another guy just the night before, you automatically are just like, ugh, like yuck. And I think that reflex shows that it's not something that you would be interested in naturally. So, yeah.
Do you think lions, because you know, I've seen videos where a male lion that's taken over a pride or whatever, you come in and his female lion already had cubs from a previous lion, and he'll kill that cub, right? Kind of along the lines of what you're saying. It's like there's a sense of lineage. There's a sense of that's not mine, he's not mine, he has to go, all that. But do you think he cared about who she was mating with the day prior? I mean, the animals understand jealousy in a way, right?
No, they only understand ownership. Like, this is mine. I don't think they have a sense of jealousy. I think that's a more of a human emotion that we.
Jealousy is a human emotion.
Yeah,
I don't know about that.
I don't think it's an animal emotion. I think that just wanting to own resource or own viable mates is more animalistic. Jealousy is more of a human trait. And I think sometimes we try to anthropomorphize animals with human traits and be like, oh, he was jealous that monkey got to get in the hot springs than the other snow monkey. And it's like, no, he's not jealous. What he is he wants the resource of the hot springs. And so he will fight the other monkey for that resource. But I think jealousy isn't really an animal trait.
So you're saying I was thinking of a dog in my mind, right? Because I feel like I see dogs with a lot of really human-like traits, right? They get happy, sad, mad. They understand hierarchy. They understand alphas and stuff like that. They have their own social economical structure, right? Packs and all that kind of stuff. So you're telling me this is actually a good thing to think about. You're telling me that these animals, like a dog, would not experience jealousy, but they're experiencing a survival instinct of like a lack of resource or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, because an animal could see like a sow or a doe or whatever the female variation of the animal sex, the female sex of that species be currently being in the middle of mating with another individual, and then we'll follow right up after.
I gotta call it.
That's not going to be the same. Men aren't going to.
I've seen a bird. The bird. They had a video. I'm gonna find a video. It was on Reddit. And the bird was like, it was in his little nest or whatever, and the male, it was two birds, and the male bird had left, and another male bird that came in and was trying to mate with it, and the first male bird that came back and was like fighting it and stuff, and was like, "What you doing in my house?" It was real. It was a real "what you doing in my house" situation. And it was fighting all around and stuff, and kicked it out and stuff. Like, he was not having it.
Well, okay, that's different because it was in his nest. But I'm saying, like,
yeah, that's his nest.
If a stag was out in the field and saw a doe being mated with, he'd fight that stag, right? And then he will, in return, mate with it. Yeah, no guy is going to be walking home, come home early, get upstairs, see some other guy on top of his wife, and then beat up the other guy, chase him out of the house, and then go back upstairs and finish the wife off. Like, that's not happening. That's not happening.
I'm about to say, I mean,
that's not happening.
There's something out there that, you warmed the car
said
up.
Dogs do get jealous. They don't get jealous. They don't get jealous, Tina.
Interesting. See, okay. I'm now. I hear you type it. I'm curious now. I want to know if animal. How I'm pretty sure they got personalities, man. They might not. I will agree with you that they would jump right on top of it after somebody else just got finished, but like, they wouldn't be asking for another. They have personality. They do have personality, but I think the question here, Tina, is more like the jealousy, because jealousy is what is sparking this whole thing about Bonnie Blue being with so many men, and it's like no man is gonna want her. Basically, is she still valuable after what she's doing? Right? It's almost it's her values. The person's value is being degraded by the number, and in feminism, it's like, no, it doesn't matter. Her value is the same whether it's a 1 or 1,000. But in traditionalism, it's yes, her value is depleted after so many. But, that's only because of the jealousy and I guess in humans it will be jealousy.
Yeah, that's what I said. In humans, it would be jealous.
This is a complicated one. This is one I would really need to sort out and think about. But let me get back to the video.
And he keeps on using these examples like of rich people problems, and that kind of just shows the amount of money that he has, and he's not really speaking for the average man. But we talk about foodie calls, right? I told you guys specifically years ago, taking women out on dates and suggesting a particular spot, and then it's just not up to their snuff and their standards. Meanwhile, it's like $20 a plate at the place that I was suggesting. That's why the conversation of Cheesecake Factory went so viral about a year or so ago. So although it's not direct, it's an indirect way of saying that you are not paying enough for me.
Hypocritical would it be for me to sit here and say, Bonnie, who is honest, who monetizes it directly with her own media empire, who's upfront about it and makes money from it, is a worse person than the girl who walks around like she's goody two-shoes and then sucks dick in a Magaluf toilet. Because that's what most girls are doing anyway. Rob, the world's fucked.
I don't think that makes her worse.
They're all like this.
So I kind of agree with you on that.
They're all the same.
You're trying to say I'm not special now.
No, I'm saying you're special actually because you've gone so far through. You've come out as the queen of it. Congratulations.
Yeah. But didn't you say this kind of thing is the demise of Western society?
I mean, if I was a misogynist, I would believe this is the final end result of feminism, and the end times are here, and that nobody's going to have kids anymore, and that the idea of a beautiful marriage between a man and a woman is now completely gone. I mean, if I was a disgusting misogynist, but since they keep
but you don't have one beautiful marriage, do you?
No, I don't. No, I don't.
Have you slept with 1,057 women?
At least.
So are you quite similar?
What? Wait, what? I was not expecting that. I was not expecting him to say that. Here we go, y'all. We're about to go into the double standard conversation now. And that's why earlier I was kind of saying both. But now it's about to flip. This is where it gets tough to keep to stay objective in it, because it gives a certain hypocritical kind of feel to it. But that's only because it's double standard. Now, I'm gonna say this before anybody else, especially women, jump on him and jump on his back and call him a dog or whatever. There are double standards.
Oh yeah,
we all know that there are double standards. We live by double standards. We know it. Because double standards go into expectations of what I expect from my woman, what I expect from my man, and things like that. You know,
here's a clear example of a double standard, just right off the cuff.
Okay,
men should pay for the first date.
Yeah, I wonder how many women would say against that. I don't think there's not going to be a lot of women that would say against that. The first date, not I will also pay. Also paying is a different conversation from first date, right?
I've heard so many different variations, so there's not one sure consensus on it. But the one thing that I've always heard, and it pretty much stays steady, is the first date for certain. It's almost a unanimous thing. First date, he should always pay. In most of their cases, they'll say, yeah, if he doesn't, or if he offers to split, or if he offers to do 50-50 or whatever kind of variation of it, there usually isn't a second date.
That's so shallow.
That is the double standard. And
double standard.
Now, there have been a couple that have said, you know what, if they understand that they are not looking to see this person again, they will do pretty much a nice gesture to the guy and say, hey, you know what, I enjoyed the time, but I don't think that I can see this developing any further. Hey, let me just pay for myself. I'm glad that you invited me out. And it's kind of their way of being courteous and saying, hey, I don't want you to, just be out of your money, because we're both out on our time, because we don't see this going any further. And then the woman, as a great gesture, will pay for her portion. And then they're just, gone. Which I think that's a great gesture. But how many women you think will probably do that? Yeah,
it's, I know we're talking about double standard, but just on that example alone, that blows my mind in that, why not just take it easy, man? Just take it easy. Just go with the flow. Just enjoy your time. Enjoy yourself. It's like it's almost like such a deep equation in, oh, if he does this, then that, or this and that and this. If it's not an extreme, like he was rude and ugly, then what's wrong with the person? Why is there so many obligations and things on top of? There's oh, he didn't pay. Well, that's automatic zero. You failed. It's like what? Just go with the flow. Did you like him? Did you have a good conversation? Was it fun? Was it memorable? All this stuff. Okay, you paid $20 to be in this experience right now, but guess what? You had this really cool person who's just hung out with. Maybe you want to do it again, but to have go through all that, I'm assuming, and then he automatically gets a zero and never do it again. Yeah, bro, that's crazy to me. That's crazy to me.
Hey, that's the dating sphere right now. So it's just like, as a guy, you got to know, like you said, the formula, basically. The formula is, at a minimum, you must pay for the first date. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. If you do anything else other than pay for the first date, that is the end of all dates after that.
End of all dates. Okay. Well,
and that's the double standard of it.
It's a double standard.
Hey.
Yeah. I think another double standard, this is one I hear a lot. I forget where I hear it from. I think it's Anton Daniels. Anton Daniels says this. Excuse me. In that, let's say, a man and woman, they could be married, whatever, and all the social finances and stuff like that they deal with. But then, let's say they go bankrupt or they lose all their money or something something happens in the household where it falls apart or whatever, and they come questioning, who are they going to question?
Man, it's on
They're going to go to the man, right?
It's
Dang. Well, you let that house fall apart. Oh, what's your husband doing? Why he ain't paid for it? They're going to come to the man. But what if it could have easily been the woman and gambled everything away? You know, whatever. Then why didn't he keep her in check? Why didn't he do? You know, it's gonna be the man that's gonna take that hit. You know what I'm saying? That's a big one. I feel like everybody understands pretty easily right off bat. But then what's another one for a woman? A double standard for a woman that women get.
Usually it's about sexual history. That's one. I think
like a positive, like
a positive.
I think something like help. I think it's okay for a woman to ask for help. It's okay for a woman to be mentally, have mental issues, and she can get a divorce and cry, and then people come to her aid. I think things like that are okay. But if
she could be unhealthy, it's kind of understandable. And there's so many different excuses for different levels of unhealthy for them.
Yeah. Ooh, level of unhealthy. That's a good way of saying it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, oh, well, she's got stress. It's like, dang, all overweight women are stressed out. Oh, she's got PCOS. Well, dang, look here. I don't think that's they don't all have that now. Come on. It's like, she had a child. It's like, yeah, but that child's 10 years old. Like, what's going on? What are we talking about right now?
I think there's a lot more graces for a woman to be unhealthy or to be going through troubles and trials and to get assistance or have grace.
Oh yeah, I mean, like if she's out of character, we will immediately give her grace because it's just like that time. Immediately, it's like a natural default. You're just like, why is she crying over this? Right? You know what? That time. Why is she upset over like nothing, right? That time. You just will write it off. They get the grace on just certain things just because you're like, okay, influx in hormones. You've already wrote it off as influx in hormones. Now, if you did something out of character, it's like, well, what's wrong with you? Why are you so quiet? Why you this? What it's like,
Do better. Get right. You ain't got time for that.
Yeah, what's your problem? Like,
I think I heard somebody. I think I literally heard the words of somebody the other day. We're talking, and they actually said it without me saying anything or prompting or anything like that. They said this person had a lot they were going through, but as a man, there was a lot of pressures as a man to have to deal. I was just like, whoa. You giving them props for the struggle as a man, the life that whatever they have to go through, whatever the case. I was like, wow, that's very humble that you would recognize that and not just beat them down for it. So it's kind of cool to hear that. But we're talking about double standards. Kind of went on a little rant, but all right, let's get back.
Miller.
Absolutely not.
Why not?
Because it's the male's prerogative to impregnate as many females as possible. This is the masculine prerogative. This is biologically my prerogative is to do that.
I think we should do a breeding competition. We'll see if you can get a girl pregnant quicker than I can get pregnant.
Well, I mean, that'd be a good competition. I think I'd win. I don't know. I'm not sure about that one.
I don't know either.
It's interesting because you have to look at society. When you look at these things, you have to look at society from an animalistic perspective and a societal perspective. From the animalistic perspective, it is the masculine imperative to get as many women as possible pregnant.
Yeah, but
if you want to be purely
it's
animalistic,
not 1512.
No, but let's be purely animalistic. Let's talk about this like professional. If a man is high value, high testosterone, alpha male, whatever you want to call it, right? His imperative is to impregnate women. And he wants to take care of those women and take care of those kids. He's not overly interested in the kids. It doesn't mean he doesn't love them. It means he doesn't want to sit there and play with them all day. When you see a man who wants to play with a baby all day, that man is probably gay. It's boring.
Well, so he doesn't mean he wants to fuck the kid.
No, he's gay. He's gay. So real men just want to pregnant, money, Cool. See you an hour a week.
Nick
Boom,
Cannon.
boom, boom. Now, there's a lot of men who are going to disagree with me on that, but those are a lot of men I can beat the shit out of. So I don't give a That's the truth.
What? Now we're just being reckless. Goodness.
The female imperative is to find a man who's obsessed with her so that when she gets pregnant, she's going to have protection and provision when she's not capable of looking after herself. That is the female biological imperative and the masculine biological imperative. I'm still living to my biological imperative to some degree. If I were to, let's say, have 4 or 5 women and I had kids with 4 or 5 women and I took care of 4 or 5 women and I was with all of them and they were exclusively only with me and we had children over and over and over again, that's my biological imperative. It's actually against the female biological imperative to do what Bonnie is doing, I would argue, traditionally. But that means you break paradigms. That's great. But feminism and society and this brand new societal conditioning is convincing women that what they're supposed to do, which is find a man they love and be obsessed with him and get pregnant from him, is the wrong thing to do. Well, then let's all just become sex workers now.
But you disagree with that feminist program.
I don't have an opinion, Rob.
Yes, he does. I hate this. He just did it. He touched on it for like 1 sentence and he jumped right back to his side. He's like, yeah, this is actually the bad. You're going against your nature. But yeah, but that's just my opinion. It's traditional. He keeps stating that, which I love, that he has not moved his stance, but he's just jumping over the fence and then jumping back. And then now they're asking him like, "Oh, well, you don't agree with it?" No, that's just my opinion. That's what I'm saying, you know. So it's funny. I love this
because I have 14 criminal cases. I don't have an opinion. I'm just here. I'm a commentator. I'm just commentating.
Commentators have opinions.
I don't have an opinion. No, I don't have an opinion. Women can do whatever they want. Women are fantastic. We live in this great society now where women are girl bosses and better than us, while also are equals at everything, while also everything they do they regret was a man's fault somehow.
Yeah. As
Bonnie described, they were tricked into it. So we live in this impossible situation where a man can't possibly win anyway, no matter what opinion he had. But I'm just saying it would be unprofessional and hypocritical of me to sit here and think that Bonnie is doing anything different or anything bad or anything wrong when she does the same thing 99.9% of Western women do anyway.
Okay, so Bonnie,
I'm about to say, I would love to hear Bonnie's point of view because he's saying it. Okay, let's get to he's repeating himself at this point. He said it about 4 or 5 times. But I feel like Bonnie's just sitting there and listening. Actually, hold on, folks. I gotta use the restroom real bad. I'll be right back. I'm so sorry. I'll be right back. Man, I just realized how hot it is in this room. It's crazy. But all right.
You gotta have like the little fan or something.
Yeah, I got one on. Like you walk out of the room and walk back in, it's like just the equipment. It's just hot in here, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like I was saying, I would love to hear Bonnie's point of view. She made a little comment, obviously, about women regretting, they're doubling back and regretting their choices, their past choices, or something like that. But I would love to hear what she has to say about everything else that he's saying about traditionalism, feminism, the whole biological nature thing that he just got finished describing. I'm actually about to comment though, so let's see.
You get one extreme to the next. You get the women like me that are just sluts, and then you get the others that are lazy and won't even get on their knees and give a blowjob.
And they're
There's one
sluts too.
extreme to the next.
No, but this is the thing. They're sluts too. They're just sluts for a different guy, or they were sluts for their ex, and they're not sluts for the new guy. That's these women are sluts too. It's all the same.
So I used to be a like full service sex worker, like an escort, and I used to judge men that cheated. And then when I actually started speaking to these men, I was like, you know what? They've got a point. They're going to work. They're looking after their kids. They're still emptying the dishes because the wife's now refusing to do that, saying it should be equal. And then I say, well, when's the last time she gave you a blowjob? When's the last time she f***ed you? They couldn't name it. They couldn't even like list the amount of times where they've had sexual intercourse. I'm like, of course you're going to need that. Of course you're going to cheat. So how can I ever say women are anything but lazy and poorly educated?
So do you think you're a good role model for women?
I'm a clear example of what women have fought for years. Of
what?
Taking control of your body.
Correct.
Being independent. I earn my own money. I don't rely on a guy. I'm
Girl
paid
power.
Exactly. I'm paid more than other
100%.
guys.
Do you think
She is a clear example of what?
Well, it's we didn't establish the baseline of what he meant by that, though. Are you a good example for women in feminism or in traditionalism?
For feminism, she's a great example of what women can do when they have acquired full autonomy of themselves and are able to monetize their sexuality in a way that supports and prioritizes them. So she can choose any of her partners, which is what they ideally want. She can capitalize solely on the income that she makes, perfectly within the realm of feminism.
Yeah.
And she can at any point choose whether or not if she wants to engage in the pursuit of motherhood up until whatever, biological imperative she might run into.
Yeah.
Those all seem to be within the ideal realm of how feminism operates in.
Yeah, very true. Very true. I just, she just has such a cold way that she is that she's doing all this, like she's taking all this in. She's she just seems so like I don't even know the right word. Unexpression. Not
yes.
expression.
I think a lot of people have commented on she has a soulless look.
Soulless look.
But to some degree, when you get into doing like the kind of stuff that she has to do,
yeah,
to some degree, you lose some of yourself.
That's crazy.
And I think in order to fully be the type of person that she is, you have to be somewhat logical. So this is what makes them so similar to one another, is that you have to operate from a place of logic. And that's where when you look at that horseshoe, if you believe in like the horseshoe theory, you get someone who's on the far end of one spectrum and then someone else on the other far end of the other spectrum. They actually have a lot of similarities to one another than they do dissimilarities.
Man, that's crazy. I wish you wouldn't interrupt her. I want to hear what she has to say more. All right.
Women have been fighting for years. Absolutely correct.
And now
I'm not going to sit here and lecture you about God. I'm not going to sit here and no, that's all bullshit. She is a clear example of what women have been fighting for years.
Yeah.
Women believe that they can do whatever they want.
The way
do you think they should be able to?
Listen, brother, I have 14 criminal cases. I don't want to be called a misogynist by the BBC. That would break my heart. That's we're all individual sovereign people, and we make our own decisions.
This is going to be a 2.5-hour conversation of Andrew Tate trolling, and I'm absolutely here for it.
Women want to run around and do whatever they want to do. It's up to them. My point is, all women, on some scale, are doing what Bonnie Blue is doing. However, Bonnie Blue is just the best at it. She's the best. She's the queen of it. So why? It's
not all women.
Let me ask you a question.
Is such an insult.
If a man walks into Starbucks and steals a chocolate bar, he's a thief. Yeah,
correct. Not in London.
Well,
it's legal.
Yeah. And if a banker manages to liquidate a ton of stock illegally in the stock market or rip off a bunch of people with a false investment fund, whatever it is, he's a thief, right? The morality is the same, whether you're stealing from the Wall Street or you're stealing from Starbucks. The morality of it is the same. But people will sit there and argue that the banker is somehow worse than the guy who stole the chocolate bar because of how much he stole. I wouldn't argue there's a difference in morality. There's a difference in capability, but the morality is the same. The banker's just smarter.
I'm just a clever slut.
You're just very good. She is very good at what she's decided to do.
Ooh.
If you're going to be a whore,
Ooh.
and most women watching this, and most men, hello, your wife, yeah, her, they're all whores anyway.
Yeah.
If you're going to be a whore, you may as well be fucking good at it. Get a media empire.
Yeah. He is going to the extremes. His logic is there. It is there. If you go the very traditional way, black and white is gonna run this way. Yes. Candy bar, millions of dollars. It's all the same. Or actually, that's more feminism, though, isn't? Well, no. That's traditional. That's traditional because whether you have one body or you have 1,000 bodies, it's all bad, you know. In this case, but man, to call out people's wives and stuff, and you know, like that, it's like, yeah, your wife is a whore too, and she's doing the same thing. It's like, okay, you gotta really work the context into that one.
Yeah, you got to work the content. Again, he's very set on being very provocative, you know, being a provocateur. So unfortunate, but it does make great entertainment. But you're like, dang, man, you're undercutting your message if you're trying to put out
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I will say this. I think, again, this is kind of where it goes back to nature, I think I was saying earlier, in that I think everybody has a little bit of selfishness. Everybody's a little selfish. Everybody's, when it comes down to it, you or me, it's going to be me, you know? Everybody has that in
self-preservation.
Self-preservation.
I will pull you down to drown if that means I can get another gulp of air.
Yeah. And we try, I think things are good enough now that we have cars and phones and social media and stuff to alleviate that survival instinct.
Yes.
But when you tap into it, though, and you really realize what you're doing in the day-to-day life, actually still utilizing that same survival instinct, which is on micro level, you come to realize it's like, yo, I could actually have my cake and eat it too if I really go with the concept of getting as much as I can. Then yeah, I would get all the bodies I can, and I would get married, and I would have kids, and I would cheat, and I would have a girlfriend, and I would do this, and I would do this, and I would find God. I can have it all, you know.
Yo, and see, that's the one thing I think when I've watched a couple of other people on the YouTube platform, or I've seen other people like critique TikTokers and stuff. That's one of the main arguments and one of the main points that men have tried to express is that, hey, it doesn't make sense that a lot of and we've witnessed it in doing a lot of our reviews in Pop the Balloon. It doesn't make sense that you run up your numbers like in your 20s when you're going through college or when you're young, and you're like, yeah, I'm just going to have fun. I'm going to fun it out until this magic number comes around. And it's like, it's always right around 30. It's just 30? Somehow it just happens right there at when they're running late into the 20s and when they've hit the 30 mark right there, like the 27 to 33 window. And that's when it's just like, I want that guy over there who's real nice or real quiet or real caring or real tender. And it's like, but why? Like, why does that component happen at that point? Like, could you not have decided that you wanted, family, you wanted, steadiness before then? And that's not a good deal for the guy now. And I don't think they ever look at it from the viewpoint of what would I want for my brother, or what would I want for my son?
Yeah.
It's only what would I want for me. And so I think it's that standpoint where it's like you're not able to be objective in the view. You can only see it from your viewpoint. And I think a lot of people, when they're going about in the dating market, unfortunately, I think it probably affects women more so than it does men, but not to say it doesn't affect any men, because it does. But I don't think a lot of people try to view it from another person's vantage point. They're consumed with them.
Right.
And so it's like, oh, well, I want this thing, but it's not, what does that person want?
Yeah. It's still a core of selfishness in a way, not necessarily selflessness.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Get rich, let everyone know your name, and get paid. Why are you going out to the pub, getting drunk, and meeting a man who's funny and getting in a toilet for free? Are you dumb?
They are, though. Women are stupid.
They're stupid. So Bonnie's just the smartest. She's the Wall Street banker of this whole shit.
Oh, jeez.
I respect that much more than these other girls. Rob, I grew up in Luton, England, bruv. You think I don't know hoes? You think I haven't seen it? You think I haven't walked in the toilet and some bitch has got 5 dudes hanging out of her? This is the Western world. This is feminism. This is what all you white boys wanted. All you white men listening to women all the time. Women get their opinions all of a sudden. This is what you built. Congratulations.
So you blame men?
Well, 100% I blame men, because everything's men's fault, because men are the only ones who can apply force to scenarios. Women can't apply force. Men apply force. If there's something we don't like, we apply force to the situation. We could force this away. We could force most things away.
Oh, boy.
So everything's absolutely men's fault. And this came from, the feminism and the women's sexualization and the liberation, a lot of it came from beta males hoping to get some pussy. That's what it came from. A bunch of weak men, though. If we told girls to be hoes, I might get a little bit.
Yeah.
Because the natural order of the universe is the big gorilla, top G, smart. I'm so fucking smart. The big gorilla, top G, has a bunch of women, and then the small gorilla has nothing. This is the natural order of the universe. It's actually kind of still like that in many ways.
B28, what's up?
There's a guy with the yacht.
What's going on?
SSB.
And then
there's a guy with no yacht, with no wife. It's kind of like that. But beta males didn't like that because they couldn't obviously compete with the top guy. So they've tried to push this sexual liberation, hoping to get a little bit, and it probably works a little bit. But society is destroyed by extension. If you want to look at society for what it is, because what is society? Anything other than rearing and raising children. That's what society should be.
Well, real quick. I just want to touch on this real quick. I want to ask a question. Do you? Oh yeah. Well, I hope you find something you really like on this channel, man. I really appreciate you joining. What he's talking about, you got your alphas that really have all the choices, right? The it guy is the guy who has all the women just hanging off of. He has his choices of all the different women. The alpha gorilla. And you have the beta males down here that get the extras. They get what falls off of the alpha. They're done. He's done with them. You can have the rest, whatever, right? Do you think those betas? I have no idea how many. Well, I appreciate you showing up. Do you think those betas are actually messing the game up? I mean, it's kind of
most definitely.
They're messing the game up.
I've told this to my wife plenty of times. I said, there's a lot of guys that are messing up the game, especially when it comes to like athletes and rappers. They're doing this thing where like they'll tell the masses, they'll tell like women and like their followers, like, hey, if your guy can't pay for this Birkin bag, you need to get with a player like me. You need to get like, it's like, whoa, hold on. Average guys can't afford Birkin bags. What are you saying right now? Like, hey, if the man ain't gonna pay your first month's rent before he get with you, he ain't no real man. Whoa, what's going on? You're messing up the game, because now there are people who are impressionable that hear this, and one, either they're a young guy and think, well, shoot, I need to make this kind of money so that I can, get someone. And then there's women that are hearing it as well, that are very impressionable and saying, hey, I need to get with a guy that can do these kind of things. You got both sides of the spectrum that are equally impressionable and are going to take away the wrong things from that.
Yeah, definitely. And what SSB is saying, you know, people that say alpha and beta and all that kind of stuff, that's not real. That's not how people really talk. There are, I guess, I don't want to say mature. That's not the right word. That are socially inept. You know, you don't go around, I'm alpha, you're a beta, you know, all this kind of stuff. I think the more the concept that we're talking about here is, it's more of, you know, somebody that is so very attractive that they have options. People come to them and they want to talk to them. They want to be around them. You're like, dang, they're the cool kid. They're the cool kid in school or whatever. But that translates out of like your school environment into the real life. In real life, there are people that are so attractive. They do have a lot of, I mean, if it's a guy, he has a lot of women that try to date them. If it's a girl, there's a lot of guys trying to date them. So in this conversation, that's what Andrew Tate in the video was talking about, the alphas and all that kind of stuff. So, and my question was, for people that are not alphas, that are not getting a lot of options, they have to do a lot more stuff to get one option, right? They gotta spend a lot of money. They gotta trick. That's the right word. Yeah. They gotta trick to get the money. They gotta skim and scam and flam and do all this stuff in order to get any kind of attention. And my question, you know, Freddie answered is like, are they messing up the game? Are they doing so much flim-flamming and tricking and stuff that it's making all the options feel like they can just step on everybody and they can just, you know, they can mess themselves up in a way that is not even worth wanting anymore, degrading themselves or whatever in order to fulfill these trick options? I don't know. It's crazy when you think about it, but I blame social media.
Yeah, I think it gives a false sense of and you'll hear many people say it gives a false sense of options to a lot of people, because whereas probably you would only have contact with people within your immediate social setting, you know, you're only going to get introduced to people you've either met in your local city, you met at work, you met at school, or you meet through family and friends. That was usually it. Like, unless you traveled around and for some reason, or someone else traveled around and came across you, you weren't talking to someone that was 2 states over. You weren't talking to a girl that was 5 hours away from you, or you weren't talking to a guy who's on the East Coast and you're on the West Coast. That wasn't happening. And so now people can, you know, chat with a girl in England and you stay in Australia. You got guys talking to girls in the Caribbeans and they're up in New York. And it's like, whoa. Like, that wouldn't have happened normally.
Yeah, seriously. Oh, man. All right.
I would argue society should be, the primary function of it should be, let's have kids so that we have a population. We have a population collapse in the West.
Yeah, I think they should have a choice. I before used to think, oh my God, I really want kids, I want a family. But it's because I was so naive to what else was open to the world. I just thought, okay, I need to get married. I need to, you know, have children. I need to get a good job. And that was what I thought life was. And then I was like, fuck, there's so much more to life rather than just staying in that, you know, finishing school, going to uni, getting married, buying a house. And you just copy everyone else. Like, half the shit we do is because someone else has done it.
Okay, Bonnie, so let me ask you a question. I agree with you that now that we've opened up female horizons with education, with jobs, with the capability of making money, with Instagram and all these offers they get to fly around the world and all these things, women don't want to have kids, or they want to have kids later because they have a lot more options. I agree with you. But would you argue, if you were to look at it selflessly, not about the ant, but about the ant farm at large, that keeping women's horizons more narrow, so they focused on rearing children, would be better for society than the current society we're in, where we have to import a whole bunch of knows who's into the country to try and maintain a population because the white people aren't even having any kids because the white women are too busy sucking dicks in Magaluf.
Did you understand that?
To a certain degree, but I also couldn't give a shit. The world's going to shit anyway. So whether or not we've got more kids in it or not,
Nihilism.
it's regardless.
Nihilism.
So just live your life the best. You're going to be dead in however many years anyway.
Fair.
So don't stress too much.
Fair.
Yeah.
Fair.
In order to do what a Bonnie Blue does, you have to have like a nihilist view of society. You have to think that we're all going to just burn up in a couple of years. Who gives a shit? Let's live.
Sorry. You called it. Dang. I wonder how much of nihilism is that what it is?
That's exactly what I mean, because
just
most
put it
people are
on?
like, I'm just in it to get what I can get out of it, because we're all gonna die anyways, right? So
Is that the code? Is that the secret to all of this? Everything? Is that it? It's just a sense of nothingness at the end of it anyway. So let's just get it while we got it.
get it while you can. I don't care about the next person. I'm not trying to be considerate of next generations or who I could be negatively impacting, because they're going to die too. So I'm going to die. So I might as well get what I can and enjoy this here now. And then, okay, maybe I negatively impact this guy or that person right there, but they're going to die too. So who's going to be around to say that I was a bad person? No one, because they're all going to die. So you got to have that kind of nihilistic approach, because then at that point, you don't care about anything other than just you, because you know that the end of everything is death.
That's crazy. That's it. That's it, y'all.
Life now, we're all going to be dead in a couple of years. Like you have to have one of those. And I think therein lies the lessons, is that you have these short-term thinkers that can reach high levels of capital gain, right? Financial foundation within their bank account. Meanwhile, they're doing it because they don't give a about anyone around them, and it's only for self. It's for self-interest. Whereas long-term thinkers who are thinking about, right, procreation and legacy, you know, they're making choices or decisions within their life in order to substantiate a life that can be lived after them, right? Having a family, having children, which would require selflessness as opposed to selfishness. And there lies the problem or the struggle in normalizing behaviors like Bonnie. And I'm not saying 1,000 bodies is normal. Obviously, what she's doing is not normal, but then normalize the behavior of having 5 guys hanging out of you like Magaluf, like Andrew was just saying. But even if you don't think that that is normal, I mean, dudes that travel know what it is. You traveling to certain places, you meet that group of girls, you know for damn sure that some of those girls got boyfriends, but as they are traveling, they're just doing whatever they think that they need to do. Now, depending upon the crew, due to the sexual liberation, you'll have the girls egging each other on just as much as the guys, whose biological imperative is to procreate as much as possible within their friend groups. And what's the results of all of this? More baggage, bigger pass, lower marriage rate, higher divorce rate, higher baby deletion rates, higher STD rates. I mean, this whole shit is like, and on top of all of this, right, you got AI happening in the background. Do you guys realize what's going to happen when AI corn reaches the masses? As real as what the AI currently is, and looking at it on like IG or TikTok clips,
Give it another
when
year.
that thing makes it in the corn, and maybe it has, all right, I don't look for it, so I don't even know if it's in the thing. But when that thing, I mean, shit, I might even put a Bonnie Blue out of business, right? Because I would argue that most people that watch it don't even care if the person is real. At the end of the day, they just care that the person is doing what they want to do within the content, which is a simple query search away. Let's go.
That's
Fair.
crazy.
This is what I like about Bonnie Blue. Bonnie Blue is my favorite. This is my favorite everything. Fair, because what you just said, I understand and I agree with.
But it's selfish.
But what have I
But
said?
why should I not be selfish? Why should I give a shit about someone else that pays less tax than me, has, you know, sits and complains, makes shitty TikToks about me? Like, I couldn't give a shit if your life's going to shit. By the looks of it, you live in a council house, you've got a couple of kids with different dads. I don't care. So why should I sit there and think, fuck, I should do something to help you? I don't care. I should focus on myself. And if more people did that, the world would actually be a better place. But they become so fixated on other people. I'm like, where's your life? Why are you not focusing on yourself? Like, look in the mirror, you're fat, go and do something about it. Your teeth have that much plaque on it. Like, you're fucked. Like, there's no way out for you.
Wow.
No, but
Is this a good role model?
no, yes, because no, but what
No,
Bonnie-
yes.
no,
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 yes.
what Bonnie's saying-
People.
And it's not about what she's saying. It's about the general attitude. Because what I want to make clear, the reason society was run by men for so long is that men have a different biological instinct to women, and we're prepared to suffer for the greater good. Women are not very good at suffering. Men are good sufferers.
Look back at the wars. There's so much evidence of it.
Well, of course. And also, let's just look at the normal family. You talked about these men who come and see you, right?
Yeah.
But happy wife, happy life is true. And the reason it's true is because if the wife is unhappy, everyone's miserable because she'll make sure of it. But if the man's unhappy, everyone else can be happy. He'll suffer. He'll sit with no sex. He'll go to work every day.
Yeah.
He won't see his friends. He'll be miserable. He'll be depressed. He'll still pay the bills. He'll still pay the taxes. And everyone else gets to be happy. Men are good at suffering. Women are spiteful sufferers. And for that reason, they struggle to do anything. They struggle to suffer themselves for any greater good. Men have always died for a greater good. Men have always said, this is bad for me, but it's good for society. Bonnie just quite correctly, quite pertinently highlighted the fact that she believes
What you
in
think
living her
about
life
that?
the best way that she wants to live, so she is happy. And
That's a tough realization that he just threw out
Yo,
there.
that was a hot bar right there. That was a hot bar.
Yeah, I wonder if he had that in his back pocket, or if he had just came up with that. Because she walked right into that one. She literally said everything to the T of what he just said, and then he brought that out and was like, "Yep, see, she is so." But she's
very
said,
selfish.
She
And she
said
is
a
not
lot
willing
of
to
bad
suffer for anything.
She talking down on people like, yeah, your teeth are messed up and your life is crap because it's not like mine. But I'm like, people are probably saying the same thing about you in the reverse about your lifestyle. I don't know. I was kind of like objectively okay, but now it's kind of like, oh, you looking down on people? I don't know. Maybe I'm just hyper focusing on the wrong thing. But him saying that men being good sufferers and women being,
because it goes back to what you said
spiteful.
earlier.
Yeah, they're given more grace in order to be unhealthy or whatever, whereas men, we're not allowed to we got to suffer in silence. You got to just take it or whatever. I think society is getting better at identifying that and telling us to go to therapy and things like that now. But but you know why it's like that? It's because the double standard, like I was just saying, to allow more grace to women, but then also the power that they have in that social dynamic, because everybody wants them. You want the woman. So she in return requires this thing, her happiness. Her happiness is whatever she's wanting at that time. So if she's not happy, then she will stop giving you what you want, in return. And I guess in a way make you spiteful. Not make you spiteful. She will be spiteful. I don't know. I'm trying to put what he said into a situation, right? It's kind of dark.
Yeah. And
it's kind of dark.
Real quick, to SSB, do you think men have lost the culture war? That's a good question. I don't think they've lost the culture war. So war is a game of attrition, and it's fought with many battles. And I think right now, a lot of battles have been lost. And I think that's due to a lot of weak men that are making a lot of decisions on behalf of just trying to acquiesce and please a lot of women. But I think it's still ongoing as more and more people have the conversation about what we're witnessing objectively. Like with our own two eyes, we understand that things aren't looking good. Now there's some people that are right now. I think the debate is, where are we currently in that pendulum swing? So society if you believe that society moves in a pendulum, it goes one way pretty quickly, and then at one point it starts to course correct, and then it goes in the opposite direction. That's up to debate right now. So some people think it'll get a little bit worse before that pendulum starts to swing back in a positive direction. I don't know where I'm at right now. I'm still constantly trying to judge if it's going to get worse or if we're moving towards the direction of it getting better. I'm not sure. Tara, what do you think?
So I'm gonna start off with saying I hate to say, one thing I always hate is when people don't answer the question. And I feel like I'm gonna not answer your question. Because your question is, do you think men have lost a culture war? And not to defeat your question, but I don't think there is a culture war. I think there's a culture shift, technically.
Okay.
I think what we're seeing here is a result of one of like 2 or 3 different things. We're seeing the advancement of technology, like I was saying earlier. Technology has allowed us to far reach different areas that we've never been able to before. These problems that we're talking about has always been here. I think back 20, 30, 40 years before I was even born, these problems have been here. You know what I'm saying? Women have had the power of sexual interests. Men have had the power of, you know, their masculinity or whatever the case. The dynamics will change. You know, you can go to one household and you'll see a man is in charge and a woman, whatever, or maybe he has multiple kids and mistresses, all whatever. The problems have always been here. Men have cheated, women have cheated, multiple bodies, all kind of stuff. It's just that now we have social media. Now we have videos that are highlighting these things. In the last 5 years, I would say now the culture is finally taking light of men saying, I don't want this, I don't like this, or whatever. And then we also have women coming straight out like Bonnie Blue here saying, F you, I'm getting bodies, I'm getting money, give me $100 meals or whatever. It's just being highlighted more. And to try and answer your question, and if men have lost it, I would say no. If anything, they're winning. If I had to play the game, they are winning in that their voices are being heard. Nobody's dying in the war. It's just that it's shifting from one side to the other. It's like, oh, you're going to hear what I have to say. And I think it will get, the only way it can get worse is if technology gets worse. If technology, like he was saying, if technology advances to the point where we no longer need women,
that will be bad. Yeah,
that will be the downfall. Because again, like I said, the power women has is a sexual interest.
Yeah.
And like how MTR said, is like, if we get AI videos that can make corn sites without the women, if I can get a robot girlfriend, you know, to be, you know, my girlfriend or whatever.
And then if they can create technology where you can transplant wombs into other people and incubate the children, that will be crazy.
Both sides lose at that point.
Yeah.
Both sides lose. You don't want it to get to that point. No. I think what needs to happen, what should happen, is there needs to be a baseline of understanding in society. There needs to be one side. It needs to be this might be make a really cool book. There needs to be two sides. And one side, you have all the traditional people that live in society, that they understand each other and they know the dynamics of which they live in, and they operate as such, and they don't go outside of that. On the other side, I guess, is Sodom. I guess it's the city of Sodom or whatever, where everybody just does whatever they want. They just messing with whoever they want and just doing whatever they want. And it's just run free. You just do whatever. It needs to be two different. I guess that would feminism will sit. It needs to be two different sides. That's what it's going to end up being like if it doesn't rectify itself. But I don't see it getting any better. It might quiet down, but as long as there's social media And as long as men have voices and people like Andrew Tate are out there and women like Bonnie Blue are out there, this is going to stay exactly how it is. And we're going to keep having these conversations. So I hope I answer your question somewhat. Yeah, back to it.
And I agree with you. That's what you should do. That's fine.
Yeah.
If you're a woman, that's how women think. Women don't think I shouldn't do this because I care about society by and large. Women don't think that way. And once you understand that logic, you can extrapolate that out to the fact that women shouldn't be in charge of a country ever, because women are not prepared to take a bullet for a country ever.
I mean, I guess I contradict myself a little bit because I help society out a lot. And I do that because do you see how many dicks I drain? How many balls I've been emptied out on my face? Wow. How many cream pies I've taken and scooped it out? Like,
and how does that help
sex workers help like reduce rates by over 30%.
No. I need to clarify, because she's blurring the lines. You're not gonna trick me with that. She would be helping society if she was doing what she said and helping these poor men relieve themselves in their stressful states of life. Hey man, I'm just down. I just need some Bonnie Blue today. Bonnie Blue, get me right. Get me right, Bonnie. Then then yes, she's helping society. But if she's taking 100, face shots to make $1 million, she's not helping society, bro. That's hurting society. That's hurting a woman's worth in society by taking 100 shots to the face.
But wait, I'm
sorry, real quick. I would argue that the first example would also be hurting the woman's value with the whole, relieving men, but at least you're giving back.
I want to push back. I want to push back.
All right, go ahead.
I want to push back a little bit. Why is it that if she's doing it just for the love of just wanting to do it, you're okay with that being like a help to society? But if she's doing it because she genuinely likes to do that, but she gets a monetary kind of incentive to do it, why does that make it different? I'm curious.
Well, you kind of said it even when as you were asking the question. And to be clear, in both of these examples, she's getting paid in my view. One, she's getting paid to help men, and the other one, she's getting paid to get paid. There is no necessarily helping men. She's not doing it to help the men. She wants the men to help her. I think she's putting out a calling call like, "Hey man, come on! I need more men to shoot on my face."
But would that help? Okay, let's say she's doing it strictly from a financial gain, but the men that are doing it are saying, "Hey, that helped me out a lot."
Okay, then that works. Then she's helping.
Okay,
she's helping society. But she has to. That's why I'm saying she's blurring the lines, because in one side she's saying, "Oh, get your life better. Your teeth are crap and whatever. You need to do like me." But then on the other side, she's like, "Oh, I'm helping men. I'm helping society." It's like, I guess I just need to hear it more specific.
Yes, her friend that did that video shoot, SSB. I don't recall if she had an STD. Maybe she did. I'd have to look that up. I can't state if she did. I do recall she did have an injury. You're absolutely correct in that. She had an injury and she had some type of mental episode because she did an interview shortly after she shot that scene, and her friend had almost like a little mental crisis in trying to do some kind of mental gymnastics to be well with doing something of that nature. So yeah, they did 100 bodies. It was crazy. To any you have to be mentally unwell for that to not affect you. And I think Bonnie Blue is at that point where it does not mentally affect her. Her friend, at this point, it still affected her. Let's see.
But see, this is kind of what this goes back to the beginning conversation in that 100, 1,000, 2, 4, it doesn't matter. For Bonnie, it doesn't matter. Like she can take all of it. And I think there's a lot of, like, to Andrew's point, there's a lot of people, I'm gonna say people, because I keep thinking about how this affects men. I think there's a lot of people out there that don't care about the body count. They don't care about the past. They don't care how many they go through. It's all selfish. It's all about getting. And at the end of the day, if you can handle it, you can handle it. You just do it. You do your thing. And you go about your day. Eat your milk and cookies, and you go to work, and you go to sleep, and you get up and you do it again the next day. It doesn't matter if it was 100 bodies. You just do it. If it bothers you, then you weren't built for it. And it's kind of. I mean, I'm sorry. I know this sounds like, damn, wow, he sounds evil. But I'm not, because I think it's just a very logical way of understanding that there's some people out there that can just do it.
Yo, there's no way she's in her 20s. I'm sorry. I was reading SSB's comment.
Looking like she's in her 40s.
Are you serious right now? She has to be in her 40s, and she just is appearing to try to look like she's in her 20s. If she is in her 20s, that is crazy. I don't know how old she is. I'm actually curious.
Bonnie Blue's in her 20s?
Yeah, he's saying this blue girl is in her 20s.
She's 26.
What?
She's 26.
Yo, that is crazy. 26. Yeah, she does look like she's in her 40s. That is wild.
Yeah. And, you know, again, like I'm saying, it's just that 26.
Yeah. That's wild.
You just, you know, people do it all the time. Regular people, not Bonnie Blues, but Angela down the street, you know, is doing it too. And she probably went through 4 dudes just last night, you know what I'm saying? You know, and she just gets up and goes about it the next day. It's only when you build that conscious. Maybe that other friend that got the 100 bodies that's messing her up and stuff.
Yeah, it had messed her up after that. I remember seeing a lot of people doing content on that, because she did an interview. Like, literally, I think she got right off set and was doing an interview with someone. And they were critiquing that interview.
And as far, you know, I read this and I'm like, okay, that's, to me, that's no different from 10 dudes getting the STD and getting injured, you know. It's no different from 1,000 dudes, 500 dudes getting STD and getting injured. It's the same thing. The minute that you perform the act with someone, even with one person, you can get an STD and get injured and have a baby and all this kind of stuff or whatever. So, it's a part of the. It's grown folks things, man. You do grown folks things, you get grown folks results, you know. That's how I see it.
That sound like a stat you just made up?
No, Google it.
Yeah, that's probably true. Mental health, it's good for mental health as well.
The true fact is 32%.
Yeah, stops men killing themselves. Sex work's an important part of the world.
Imagine, like, if you're
Are you saying that because you had a webcam business?
I'm not saying that because I had a webcam business. I'm saying that because it's absolutely and utterly true. I'm the only point I was making earlier about women being in charge, I was actually trying to get to a final point. And the final point, I would argue, is that Bonnie has done no damage to society compared to giving the women a vote.
I've basically been a community worker.
Absolutely.
For example,
do you vote?
No, to be honest, I don't really know what's going on.
Okay, so do you vote?
No.
Okay, she's perfect. she's out here. She's sucking.
Sarcastic.
She's not voting.
She's taking it.
This is the kind of women we need. This is done. This is fine. If we stop women, we take the women's vote away. If you said to me, Andrew, fix society, all the women can either vote or be like Bonnie. I'd be like, make them all like Bonnie. Give the men the vote back. We'll fix all.
Even your daughter.
Yeah. Why would she need to vote? I'm voting. Why would she need to vote when I'm voting? You're going to vote against her father.
Yeah, he did kind of fall off, didn't he?
What kind of world is that?
Not gonna make it past it.
You know, it's really interesting to me.
Since
I have daughters, and I have a bunch. People always say, when you get a daughter, you're going to change your opinions. No, I fucking didn't.
Falling off.
When you have a daughter, you see these dudes and they have a daughter, and like the daughter's putting makeup on. And they're like, girl dad. Just because you have a girl doesn't mean you become gay.
I think that's cute though.
I'm never going to she's never going to put makeup on my face. I'm never going to be like, oh, my daughter wants, so I guess I just gave in.
Like a farmer
she melts my heart. No. You're going to obey me because I am your parent and you are my child. My child can't vote against me ever. That's civil war. That's against the rules of, that's against the just working of the universe, sir. For me to have a certain opinion and my own offspring to have
Andrew
countering
Tate,
opinion.
To answer SSB, I think Andrew Tate, the reason why we kind of have that sentiment like, hey, you know, and he fell off as well, is because of all of the legal issues that he was having. And so he kind of stepped back from the spotlight, and he wasn't so much of trying to bring too much heat to himself as he was battling everything that was happening to him. I think he's in Romania, right? All that stuff is going on in Romania. So yeah, Andrew Tate hadn't been so relevant as of recent because of being locked up and then being under house arrest, and I think he's still battling a lot of the charges currently. He did fall off though. His interviews on Piers Morgan didn't go viral like how they used to. Okay, all right, okay.
Yeah. All right.
Then I'm going to be sitting at some fucking dinner table in 20 years, and my daughter or my sons, any of them, are going to be there arguing with me about anything. Actually, in school, I learned, you better shut the fuck up because you're in my fucking house. It's my mansion. It's the Tate millions. You're living on my money. You're going to do as I fucking say.
Until they're 18 or they move out?
Until, if they want to completely cut me off and build their own version of life, I guess they could do that, but they won't do that. That's impossible.
It's how you bring them up. Like when they're 18, yes, they're an adult, but it's how you brought them up.
Of course.
Like my parents brought me up.
Do you have kids though?
No, I don't.
No.
But like my parents, I mean, everyone says my parents can't love me. My family must have disowned me. It's not the case. My family brought me up to be independent and live my best life, how I want to live. And as much as people think that is so shameful, that's disgusting. Like my life's become so much better and I'm happy. As much as people think I should be scarred, could kill myself and everything else. It's like, I am happy. I genuinely live a much better life. So my family are nothing but proud of me. So
are you really happy?
Really, really happy. Happy and wet.
When you're alone, you're happy.
She's not voting. She's great. This is what we need. Do you want to be prime minister or not really?
No.
See, done, bro. This is it. This is what we need in society. Honest about their sex work, because all women out here are sex working anyway. When's the last you've been in Dubai recently? Find a woman who ain't sex working. That is a challenge, sir.
Again,
$1 million
he's
to find
got to
a
be a
woman who ain't living off a
provocateur.
man.
He's got to
because that is sex work. You giving sex and she's giving you money. That's the game. I tweeted.
It's actually so true. I've never thought of it like that.
I
Like,
tweeted
when
this.
people are boyfriend and girlfriends,
It's sex
the
work.
time they do a low-paid job, they've not got the education to do anything better. So, and they're having sex with the partners, keep them interested. The partner's paying the bills.
wild.
It's a
He's
sex work with
absolutely
one client.
wild.
Just like you said.
100%. I said this. I tweeted it, and the whole world lost its mind because you know me. I'm a provocateur.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I said, yeah, women are sex workers.
My bad.
You can either have a bunch of customers with OnlyFans, or you can have one customer called a husband or boyfriend, or you can be ugly, and unfortunately, then you got to get a job. But if you're pretty enough, you don't do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
You find a boyfriend or a husband or a sugar daddy, whatever you want to call him.
Sugar
And
daddy.
he's paying your bills. Go to Saint-Tropez, Monaco, Cannes, go to Miami, go to Dubai, go to Hong Kong, go to any of these cities and find a beautiful woman and ask her job. She either doesn't work because her boyfriend takes care of her, or she has some bullshit vanity project which loses money that her husband pays for. Owns a flower shop that loses money each month. Great. Businesswoman, independent. Bullshit. Women are only ever been sex workers. Women have only ever translated their into money or into provision or into protection. That's all women have ever done. Let's talk about the ancient days when the ancient whoever's, the tribe got conquered by another tribe. You're sitting around, there's 100 men, there's 100 women, the 100 men go out to war, they lose, the conquering tribe comes and takes over the ground, takes over the women. What do the women do? Here's some pussy, don't kill me, please.
It's not 1500 anymore.
No, but it doesn't matter. That's what that's all they've ever done. And I'm telling you now, you know, you watch Hunger Games and there's Katniss Evergreen run around with her bullshit fucking bow and arrow. When World War III finally comes, you're just going to see a whole bunch of women hooking. That's all they're going to do. They're like, shit, World War III, I need money. I need a man who can protect me. Here's some.
What are we even talking about anymore? What are we talking about?
So, okay, what he's talking about right now, it kind of goes back to what you're kind of questioning. Like, hey, are we at this point where we're actually just operating off of our natural instincts? Like society is just reflecting what like basic animalistic human nature would be.
Right.
And I think he's saying like we have modernized society so well to the point that this is not occurring. But let something as catastrophic as World War III pop off. And a lot of people aren't able to feed themselves. A lot of people aren't able to shelter themselves. You will actually see what a lot of the female population start to do. And that is devolve back to using what they have naturally. Which is the power and the access to sex. And so they will leverage their sex or their sexuality in order for provisions. And basically he's reduced everything down to that's currently what they're doing. It's just more acceptable. Like we are more acceptable of, hey, leverage your youth, your beauty, and your fertility to just one guy and get married, and then have this one guy provide for you and shelter you and do these things for you. Whereas on the other extreme, it's leverage those things to the masses and gain is whatever it is, food, shelter, protection, and do it that way. So it's almost kind of like, wait, are they both saying the same thing? And you kind of got to like stop because you're like, hold on.
Yeah.
Dang. It's just one is more respectable.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, it's just very simplified. Like if you just boil it all down, and it's like, yeah, I'm almost kind of stumped because it's like, it's not a popular thing to say, and it's not a probably, I guess what you'd say, like a politically correct thing to say. It's like, well, yeah, I mean, if the world was in turmoil and there's some woman that's trying to feed herself or feed her child, she will leverage her sexuality for a guy to protect her. Like, hey, I'm in need. I need shelter. Can you shelter me? And then the guy will be like, certainly, I got this room right here ready for you. But yeah, I mean, I gotta go out and get the food, and I gotta battle all these other guys out here. I'm kind of not just doing it out of the kindness of my heart,
Yeah.
And there you go.
Okay. Yeah, I'm glad, because I've definitely seen that before. I definitely felt that before, like the instinct that's what I was kind of talking about. Like it's almost scientific. It's almost biological, but we
do it naturally. I promise you. I remember in college, a girl wanted me to take her to a grocery store, and I remember thinking to myself, wait, hold on, aren't you talking to a guy right now?
Oh,
have him take you.
Yes,
have him take you.
Why?
Because I'm not getting anything out of this deal right now. And it's so horrible when you think about it, but we do it instinctually. It's like, wait. Do you have a boyfriend? Do you have a guy that you are entertaining right now? Have that guy do that thing. Don't ask me.
But you could be.
You were getting ready to do it. You're getting ready to do it.
I'm just saying, if we play by those rules, the those exaggerated rules, he's the guy. This sounds so bad.
It is.
He's the guy that has to pay for it, and he's doing the work. But the little bit of work you do, you could just take it to the grocery store, and maybe you could be the side dude. You know, you could have been the other guy. You know what I'm saying? He's the main guy. You the other guy. You know,
that's how that does work for some guys in some cases. Yep, it does.
She has her resources expanded in her network. She's given her resource out so that she can have multiple
more. Yep.
Think about it, she could have a guy for grocery. You could have been the grocery guy. She could have a guy for sitting around reading books. She could have a guy for paying her phone bill, a guy who pays her house bill, all those things. She has one resource she gives out to all of you, and you give her that thing. It's better than money.
Hey.
Right?
So I think some guys they do run the calculations and try to say, okay, well, can I get that in return of doing X, Y, and Z? Yeah. I don't think it works most of the time. Especially if she doesn't like you like that.
She doesn't like you like that.
Yeah. But yeah, most definitely. I think if society ever devolved back to where, you know, provisions and shelter and protection was ever in question, there will be a lot more hooking.
Interesting. Okay. Let's see what he has to say.
I would have fucked Hitler to survive.
Of course. Women will fuck anyone to survive. Look at France in World War II. You hear about the war brides? They all had their heads shaved. You don't know about this? Oh, you didn't know. I'll tell you. The Nazis kicked the fuck out of all the French. Then the Nazi soldiers turn up to Paris. Nazi soldiers have money. Average French man, he either lost in war, lost a leg, and has no money. He's a brokey. The Nazi guy, he's got money. He's got the German Deutschmark. He's got a nice uniform. He's a winner. All the French women were fucking the Nazis. They killed their husband. They're fucking the next guy a year later. Why? Because he can provide, he can protect. They give him status. They get to go out and party. They all had their heads shaved afterwards once the Americans kicked the Germans out of France.
I would have been bold straight away.
Well, there you go. This is what women do. Dang. Women say, okay, let me look at the world. I'm not as strong as a man. I'm not as determined as a man. I'm not as intelligent as a man. I can't do any of these things men can do. What's the one differentiator I have? See. So let me turn my into what I want. That's not a bad thing. That's just understanding the world. Yeah. Right?
Do you think this is a positive message for society?
I'm not here giving any messages. I am a commentator, sir.
I say it's factual.
A commentator gives messages.
I'm a commentator, sir. I see I'm not playing football. I'm commentating on the game. That's all I'm doing.
And people are listening to you.
Well, they're listening to me commentate. I'm telling everyone how it works.
No. See, the host has a good point. He's like, I'm a commentator. No, people are listening to it. See, that's the thing with social media. Even us here on this video, you have a lot of power and influence. People are very impressionable. Even smart people, very impressionable.
Impressionable for sure.
Say something especially when it's wild like that, it's going to get people's attentions. They're going to listen. They're going to absorb it. And they might even imitate it in a lot of ways. So for him to be like, oh, I'm just talking, I'm not actually my opinion, people will twist your words and will twist the insight as factual or whatever. So to me, that's irresponsible to just be like, it's one of two, either is irresponsible or he knows exactly what he's doing. I think he's smart enough to know what he's doing and saying it to try to get around like a loophole. It's like, I'm not saying anything, don't prosecute me, but this is the best way I can get it out there, though. Yeah.
You'd learn in history at school. Everything we're saying is factual.
What would you learn in history at school about?
Well, I didn't really listen too much at school, but yeah, I learned at school that people had their head shaved. Yeah. Like you learn about what happened at the war, and that happened. That's factual. You didn't ever learn at school, the women went to war. No, of course they didn't. They stayed at home. They cooked. They had the house ready. Like it stayed the same. Everything we're saying is factual.
Yeah, like Rob.
What Andrew Tate is doing right now is actually super villain level of genius. He's being sarcastic enough and trolling enough to destroy feminism without saying overtly all of the negative viral things that he's ever said in regards to feminism. He's aligning with feminism and demonstrating how it's the downfall of society, demonstrating how, you know, women's biological imperative, you know, and he's exaggerating enough to have viral components of this interview hit virality, utilizing real world examples. And the craziest shit on top of all of this is that Bonnie Blue is like they're in agreement throughout the entire conversation. So he's saying something that is utterly ridiculous, knowing damn well that he wanted his own daughter to become a part of this, yet demonstrating how damaging and ridiculous the ideology is. And then you have like the world's most popular S worker just, yeah, you're right, because like this is actually genius. He's effectively humiliating her while also making her think that he's on her side.
I don't think
absolutely
he's that dumb, though.
4D chess move.
Incorrect. And the reason I'm saying all these things is to highlight how it's awfully hypocritical for anybody in modern Western society, anybody who believes in women's liberation, anyone who believes women should be allowed to vote, anyone who believes in women are allowed to lead a country, anyone who listens to their wife's stupid opinions on anything, to give Bonnie a second of hard time. Just because it's all the same thought pattern. It's all the same thought process. If you're a man who says, I have a wife and we got married when she was a virgin and she doesn't vote and she obeys me absolutely and I'm the king of this household, then maybe you could have an opinion. But if you're going to sit there and go, oh, my wife has a past, but I love her anyway, then shut the fuck up. And that's 99% of men. Rob, do you understand that about 3 times a week I see a woman I've plowed get married on Instagram? You understand? I see it. I see the man walking down the aisle holding her hand, doing the whole humiliation ritual. I see the whole thing. He got on one knee. And I just watched it. I was like, bro, what the fuck?
But I don't think there's anything wrong with that, though.
No, but there is.
But why? Like,
because I know what happened that night.
people
So it is.
When another dude can look at your wife and be like, yeah, I had her like this, and this, like a pretzel.
That's
when
wild.
Another dude comes and when another dude tells you that.
Yeah, don't have one tell you. Do not have one tell you.
That
that would be crazy. I've had conversations with some guys at work like that, and they always find it strange because I looked up. But when I hear other guys, they take one or two stances like what Andrew Tate was saying. Like they have to either do the Jedi mind trick coping, where it's like, oh, it was before me. It was before me. Or they have to say, well, I have a past too. I did a lot of things.
One or two
so
things,
they just like they kind of do like the weight comparison, where like I had 20 different women, so it was okay that she had 15. And then, you know, like they try to like do that kind of thing.
Right. But yeah, that's always been my. I mean, like I think it would be anybody, but that's always been my thing. I would see and hear like what he just said is so wild to me that some guys out there reminiscing about your lady and like, I wonder what she's doing right now. I remember what that was like. and the other thing I hear is always like, oh, well, you know, you have it all the time. That was just one time he had it. You're blessed because you'd have that all the time or something like that or whatever. I was like, oh man, we got to come up with all kinds of ways to make it make sense. But
this reminds me of like a Black Mirror kind of episode. Like, what if in the future, like in society, like anything that you have physically seen, it's like put on a chip. And like you can watch it back as like a highlight, like so people will keep like these reels in their folders, and so they'll keep like, you know, this little neuron implant where they can go back and just keep rewatching your person just getting the work, and you just like, yo, like, hey, delete that file
Delete
is-
that file.
and
Delete
they're like,
that file.
nah, I'm gonna keep that because I remember when I was just the head was just the bobbing. I remember when she was over the couch. I remember when I was at her mama's house. I remember when it was in the like, and you like, like I need you to delete all the files associated to my person. Like,
Question. That's actually a good, cool little scenario. Would you delete files of things that, I mean, it could be about the subject. It could be any bad memory, honestly, or anything that's just unpleasant. Would you delete those files if you had the option? Would you make? Ooh, here's an even better one. Would you? This is dark. Would you make your lady delete her files of her memories before? And then, ladies, would you delete your dude's files? Because I wonder.
That's a great question, especially if we got anyone watching. I like that question. If you had the ability to delete past partner files, so if you had no, I like the way you phrased it. Would you want your current partner to delete previous partner files of previous partners? If you had like that little mind neuron implant from like Black Mirror, where you could go back and recall all the encounters,
History's gone.
Just wipe history.
Refurbished car.
The only thing that you would know is that you used to date this person or you saw this person. That was it. You could not recall anything about them other than just their face.
It's all gone. It's all gone.
Oh, I mean, but you want to, like, if you ran into someone, you're like, I knew that person. Like, right?
Or you complete wipe. Complete wipe. Okay, here we go. I'll define the parameters here.
Okay, do that.
This is fun. Before, so you're dating or whatever, and she knows because y'all dating. You don't know if it's gonna happen yet. You're gonna marry. Now you're at the point where you're gonna get married, but in order for me to give you the ring and be married, you got to delete all the files. Delete it all. You got to delete. You don't even know them. You see them. Who are you? You know, the only way anybody would ever know that they've been with anyone else is if they had the prior memory. You know, you had the prior memory. Like, oh, I need to delete the file. I'm delete the file. We delete the files. All files are deleted. Would you do that? Because I mean, theoretically, nobody's harmed in that. You know, the files are just gone. You can't hit rewind and play anymore. Basically, it's just.
Ooh. Okay. All right.
Really think about it before you answer.
I'm thinking.
It's kind of a trick question.
I would say yeah.
You would do it.
I would say yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why? Why would you do it?
It would be the same like holding on to like love letters or cards from an ex.
Ooh.
I don't need it. I wouldn't want it. And if the person that you're with currently has those things, it's like, why? Like, you want those memories? Like, there's something that you can recall back to? Like, why? Like, now I'm kind of like side-eyeing. Like, you know, it's kind of like sus. Like, so we currently know that we can't do nothing about memory. So that's why it's not something that's on the table. But if in the future it became an ability to where you had a little neuron link, like in Black Mirror, and you're like, hey, get rid of those files. It's like, why are you keeping up with those files? Like, you can just recall them anytime, you know, you get a little bored or you hit a little bump in the relationship, and now you're recalling the moment that Chad was just straight going to town on you.
It's always Chad.
It's always Chad.
So do you think there's some risk there in, because the risk in not having the experience to build up onto the person of which you have come to love? Because I would say in any situation that we go through that is hard and unpleasant, it has built up character. It has built character within the person, right? So maybe her 1,000 bodies is building strong character for her, you know?
Nah.
You don't think bodies build character?
No, they don't build character.
Or experiences just in general builds character.
It doesn't. I was saying this before. That whole experience thing is absolutely the worst thing to hear as a guy. The moment you hear like experience, you should just be weary. Because if all she starts to say is, oh yeah, think of the experiences, red flag, man.
Interesting.
Red flag.
Yeah,
I mean, because if you think about it, I've heard this argument stated before. I think actually MTR has said this before, which is pretty good. What experiences? It's either MTR or O'Shea Duke Jackson.
okay.
What experiences can you have only as a single person that you can't have as a couple? Or in a
I can take a stab at that.
Okay, all right, yeah, hold on.
I think now this is with variety though. Now, yeah, I have to throw that in there. When you have a variety of different experiences, you do learn about yourself and you learn about the options that are out there. You learn what you like and don't like, what you're comfortable with, you're not comfortable with.
But what when you say you like you learn what you like and don't like, can you experience that with a person?
You're talking about just one person, monogamous, only one person. To an extent, that's why I say variety, because if you only experience one thing, then you only know of that one thing, and you accommodate to that one thing, which is fine. But that's kind of the danger of only being exposed to one thing, and then you go out into the world and you're exposed to all these other things.
If you only experienced, let's say you only experienced someone, all they want to do is just missionary. Okay. And you don't know anything else other than missionary. Why would that be wrong?
Well, maybe you don't like missionary.
But you wouldn't know that there was other things to do. You see?
I don't know about that. I think
you would just be like,
you kind of discover.
How would you discover it?
I think you discover. I think if it wasn't working for you at all, you didn't like it, and it's the only thing you're getting, you either explore or you stop. You don't continue.
But you would explore it with that person that you're with then.
Not if they don't do anything else but missionary.
Or you would just verbalize that with them then.
Well, now we're exploring.
There you go. You're exploring with the person.
Other things. But again, it's only with that one person. That one person is only one experience.
Correct.
So now when you
but no. That person is only one.
That's one person. So now go to the scenario with the person is different people and more than one person. Yes, they can have that with that one person, but then when they try the same thing with somebody else, it gets a different result. It could be the same missionary, but it's different with this other person.
Now, how does that help the future relationship?
How does it help the future relationship?
Yeah, let's say let's use this as a guy,
okay,
who's looking for a wife.
Okay,
and he finds out that his wife, there's potential wife A and potential wife B.
Okay,
potential wife A had one ex-boyfriend, and she says, for her, sex was okay. She doesn't quite see what the hype was all about.
Okay.
Potential wife B had 15 ex-boyfriends or 15 sexual partners.
Okay.
And she's like, I know what it is that I want. I know what sizes work for me. I know what positions work for me. I know what gets me off. I know all the things that I'm looking forward to receiving, and all the things that I am willing to give as well.
Okay.
Which one to you sounds like would be a good wife candidate?
Wife candidate.
Mm-hmm.
I promise I'm not trying to be controversial. I promise I'm not. I gotta tell you, man, I think the second one sounds more fun. I'm only saying this in the aspect of variety, because
you said sound more fun, but you didn't answer the question. Which one sounds
okay, my bad. Obviously, I have a problem answering myself. As I was saying earlier, problem answer the question. This is my thought process, and then I'll answer the question. A sounds like she's only experienced one thing, and that's great. You would love that, right? It's like, oh yes, that's the one. But I wonder if she's open to doing anything at all. It scares me in that she's probably not very open. If she's not very open, then it sounds like it's going to be a very boring sex life. And boring sex life causes problems. You feel me? So the second one, it sounds like she's open and she's experienced some things. It sounds like. But if she comes and she's like, yeah, I like all these different things. I'm about it. I'm gonna do all these different things or whatever. It would kind of suck in that she's probably done it with 100 these 15 dudes.
15.
That's how she knows what she likes. But at the same time, if she's like, you know what, I'm gonna keep it fun, baby, all the time, then there's other factors that go into this. But the best choice is gonna be A. It's gonna be A.
It's gonna be A.
But I gotta tell you, man, if it's boring, then it's not gonna work. You're gonna marry A, and you're gonna find B. You're gonna find B to have fun with. You feel me?
I think the reason why A is such a nicer option is that you want the option to be the gateway to her having more positive experiences with sex. You want to be the one that she experiences the positives of it.
Yes, you're right. You want to be the positive memory that stays unwiped.
Yes. The fact that B sounds like only fun times is because you know that there's always, it's just what it is. It's just the world. There's always someone smarter than you. There's always someone funnier than you. There's always someone wealthier than you, stronger than you, faster than you, bigger than you.
Funnier though?
There's somebody. And there's going to be someone that's going to be like, oh, that sounds like insecurities. Look, it is what it is. We're all very competitive, and especially men, we are competitive at nature. And so it's just like, those are other people to compete with that she cannot uninstall from her memory.
It's tough. I would love to have a female's point of view on this, because we're two guys talking from guys' points of views, but I always wonder, like, for a guy, it's us. What we're saying here, the least amount of number possible is better. Girl A. But how do women feel about that? Do they care? I mean, I hear them say they care about the body count, you know, like they don't want a guy that's a hoe and stuff, but I don't hear it as much. I don't
think it matters as much for
why.
them. I think on a ranking scale of things that they care about, it's lower in general, not to all, but in general. I think a guy's past sexual count is of lower concern. It's basically, if anything, they just want to know, are you healthy? Are you healthy? Then it doesn't matter. And I think because most of the time they will operate off of, well, what's wrong with you if you can't pull anything?
Anything, huh?
Like, you're 30 and you're a virgin as a guy. It's like, well, what's wrong with you? Like, what's going on? You ain't pulled nothing.
That's not gonna be very attractive to
I don't think they find that attractive at all. And you would even find women who are like in the church, like Christian women, church going women, that would be like, wait, you're 30 and you ain't pulled nothing. You ain't had no accident, no oopsie, no, oh, Father, forgive me of my sins. Like, nothing. Nah, something's wrong with buddy.
You know what I think, just sitting here thinking about it, and I'll get back to the video, is that I think a really, really attractive woman that is smart, like she's very articulate, with a very low body count, 1 or 0, and she keeps herself looking good and together, smelling good, all that stuff. Like she's a 10, 9-10 with low body count, and she's, you know, all that kind of stuff. And she's like, yeah, I'm just waiting, or just, you know, whatever. That is probably one of the most attractive things you could, marriage-wise, you could ever. And you know what? Take out 10. She could be a 7, 6, 7. And you're telling me low body count, and she's keeping her head straight and all that kind of stuff. Yo, it'll be like, why aren't you married yet?
Super, yeah.
Why aren't you married yet?
Yeah.
What? Nobody scooped you up yet? What? You know, it would be like that.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's like, oh yeah, she's had, if I, you know, I know like 5 or 6 of her boyfriends. I know 5 or 6 of her boyfriends, and not even knowing the ones I don't know. And, you know, and she can tell she's definitely all over the place. And it's like, okay, she's just whatever. But then if she's like smart, it really goes into the character.
Yeah.
It really goes into, like, you can throw out, you can uncheck some boxes. You can check some boxes if the character is there. You know, she can have a little past, she can have a kid or something. I'm trying.
Well, no, I hear what you're saying.
You're not, all hope is not lost on a person because of their body count. Is what I'm trying to say in this whole thing. All hope is not lost because they have a kid. You know, it's really based on the person. And I think that's what a lot of, you know, you hear, oh, that's my past, I'm different now, all that kind of stuff. Okay, and that can really go far depending on how you are. But just saying, you know, that.
Yeah, I think society is trying to force it to be more so that way, like what you stated.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in general, average men are begrudgingly having to settle for that, because what other options are they going to have? You know, guys aren't able to afford to just pay to go and hop on planes, as much as like a lot of these TikTok videos are trying to assume that guys are just passporting overseas for wives like that. But no, I think for the average guy, if he is marriage focused, and he's wanting that kind of thing, unfortunately, he will have to settle and deal with certain things by, like you said, unchecking certain boxes. All right, she's got a child, but you know that happened 5 years ago, and since then, you know, she's been celibate for 3 of those years.
Mm-hmm.
She tried to make it work with the father of her child. They were off again, on again for 2 years. Child's 5. She was celibate for 3. She's a good person. this is she's cute. She passes the attractive bar. I'm going to take this and get out of the market. I think that's what some guys are possibly going to have to do or are doing. So it happens. I would not ever suggest it to a guy. Yeah. If I had a guy that ever came to me and was like, "Hey, Freddie, I'm talking to this girl and she's got a child," I couldn't bless that. I'd be like, "Yeah, there was none other."
Jeez. Okay.
But really, I mean, because I'm thinking of it from like a brother, from a son aspect. I'm like, nothing else, no other better options.
They could click. They could have good chemistry, though.
Yeah. But I think that's what is going to happen, or is currently happening, is that you're going to have to make that assessment, where you're just like, okay, look, she's had 5 guys before me, but we're 25. That she's done well. Like, okay, we're 27. Like, the numbers. She's had 5 boyfriends, and they were all 3-year-long relationships. She's about being relationship forward. Right. So, I'm gonna just write that off as she's serious and she's focused on wanting to be in a committed relationship. Let me lock this down. I think some guys are going to have that thought. And unfortunately, what you get on the internet is too many people that will say one thing, but do another.
Right. All right.
Aren't you under investigation for things like that?
But the point is this. If that man's going to go, everyone has a past, then who is he to comment on anything else? Because her past was me, sir.
So are all of your girlfriends virgins before you?
Well, here's where you have to, as a man, do your best to find a woman, if you want to take her seriously, with as little history as possible, if that's the kind of thing that bothers you.
But, does it bother you?
Well, it depends.
I mean, surely your best place to go then is high school.
Well, we have to be careful. I'm under investigation here. But it depends, because there's different categories of women. Right? Everything in life is actually fine if you keep everything in the right place. If you use a fork for forking and a spoon for spooning, everything's fine. It only gets confusing when you try and mix the two up. All men love whores. Men love whores.
We've got good technique.
Of course. Any man who sits there and says,
do you love whores then?
Any man who says he doesn't love whores is
keeps trying to inject him into.
Well, if I'm on a boat in Miami, I don't want.
Would you prefer a blowjob with your teeth or the mouth? You need someone with experience.
Well, if you want girls who are just a good time, they're not going to be that emotionally invested. They're probably going to be sluts. If you're going to go to a party with 20 women, you want women who are just a good time. Good time women are hoes, and men love hoes. But men want the dichotomy because we want our cake and eat it. We want a wife and we want hoes. And
that's what you were saying.
It only gets confusing for a man when you put someone in the wrong category. What will happen is a man will meet a hoe, fall in love with her because he can't control himself, and then try and say, "Oh no, she's wifey," because you love her. She's an idiot. But if you're me and you can sit and go, "Okay, that one's a good one. She's wifey. Those are the hoes. They're this," and you just keep everything in its right place. It's fine.
So Bonnie's.
Wait a second. Based off of what he was saying earlier, though, all women are sex workers. So how can you take any of them seriously if they're all sex workers? So
well, because you got the one that wants to be with one sole customer, and then you got some that want to be with multiple customers. They want the experience.
So they're all, and from his example, all women are still sex workers, but it's just a matter of you get married and you're doing it that way with one person versus with multiple people. So okay, I thought he was,
Nah, you ain't catching lacking. You ain't catching lacking yet.
Just making sure. Okay.
I don't want to insult Bonnie Blue.
You can't insult me.
I mean, you called her a hoe when I last talked to you.
No, I said she was a whore. And
I said, what's the difference between a hoe and a whore?
Well, there is a big difference because whores get paid.
Oh.
And whores are actually a much higher social standing than a hoe because hoes are fucking dumb and they do it for free.
All right.
Yeah.
Whores
I did not know
make
that.
money. So I think she's
I
a
didn't
whore.
know that difference.
Well, now you do.
No, I
I
didn't.
always say people can call me a prostitute, slut, slag, whore, whatever. I don't care. Like, you just can't insult me. Like, I own it. Whatever word you want to call me, whether you
But
say
it's not even insulting. It's just a factual description.
Yeah.
It's a factual description.
If anything, it turns me on.
Yeah. Well, there you go. That's why she's so good at her job.
By the time you finish calling me a whore, I'm going to leave this chair with a wet patch.
Well, there you go. That's why she's so good at her job.
Good.
I have that effect anyway. But
Wow.
the point I'm making here is any man who sits and goes, "Oh, I hate whores, I hate hoes," that's all a fucking lie. There's scenarios in which they're very welcome and very liked.
Yes.
But there's scenarios in which they're not. So everyone has their standing in life. Everyone has their place in life.
Yeah.
Bonnie, even I would argue, maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong, but you can correct me. Bonnie will have sex with one man, or have sex with a certain type of man, or have sex with whoever, but she'd marry a different type of man. To marry someone is different than having sex with someone. You wouldn't just marry anyone, would you? You'd have to kind of like him.
Yeah, for sure. It'd be completely different. Like, I generally have sex with anyone of legal age, but if I'm thinking of marriage, it's completely different.
Okay, so even in Bonnie's mind, there are people she treats a certain way and respects in a certain way, and there's people she has sex with without any emotional attachment. That's exactly how it is as a man. There's a woman you'll treat a certain way and have a certain amount of feeling for, and there's women you just that's it.
He's got a point.
Everything's actually fine. Men saying they hate whores and they hate all this, that's all a fucking lie. Men love whores in the right scenario. So you're asking me, my girlfriends. Well, I mean, it depends. If you catch me on a boat, if you catch me on my yacht with 25 women, are they all virgins? No.
That's a great point. He's making a great point. And it's kind of crazy that he's making this point. And I see MTR shaking his head. You were shaking. I was shaking my head. And it's like, dang, he's telling the truth. Because what you'll find is you'll even hear women, they'll make this argument, and they're almost making the argument out of confusion and frustration. Like, oh, these guys, they're always liking all these Instagram models' pictures. They're always liking all of these, celebrities, and they're following all of these women that are scantily clad and, got their booty all out and their chest all out. And it's like, but y'all are always saying that you're wanting these virgin-esque wives. And it's like, that's where you're confused. Yeah, we will actually be okay with seeing some booty out. Like, it's like you might see some booty out, like, and like some girl with cheeks just out in the streets, and you're like, yikes. Okay, all right. But you never looked at that and said, I wonder if she'd be a great mother to my children. Like that will never come across your head. But what will come across your head is nice looking cheeks right there.
Right.
Oh,
that's true. That's true.
That's a great top. That's a great bottom. All right. Well, I enjoyed the view. I'll carry on with my day. Like that. That's about it. Like, so yeah, you will enjoy the things that a promiscuous woman may have to offer, but you will probably not want to purchase this thing for a long term.
Right. Yeah. I just find it interesting that women also, I have no idea what women think. I really don't. And to hear her say that, it's kind of like, oh, y'all feel the same way. I know for men, there's fun girl and wife. I didn't know women had a fun girl and fun guy and husband.
Oh no, I found that out the hard way before. Yeah, I started to realize they did that. Yeah, and it was a very eye-opening, because if you ever get told, oh yeah, well, you're just real nice, yeah, and it's like, wait, hold on, that doesn't make any sense right now. Like, I thought that's one of the key traits into wanting a boyfriend is someone that is nice and listens. Well, that's weird. And so yeah, I think they do it too. They got the fun guy, and then they got the guy that, okay, I'm ready for a husband now. Let me get the this guy. I done did all of the crazy stuff. I done got slutted out by this guy over here or these guys over here. And now I want Mr. Reliable, Mr. Dependable.
Mr.
And
Reliable.
I think there's no guy that wants to be that one.
Yeah. All right.
Do I have children from some virgins? Yes.
If you ever host a virgin party, count me in.
How would you get into a virgin party?
Well, no, but
Let
I'll
me
be there.
just pause it right there. Actually, what Andrew just said was probably one of the most important things for young men to realize within this entire conversation, because I think that, and I also think like a major component of my content specific to the audience of men that are watching is I think that due to, you know, our current situation of overmothering, underfathering, the current situation of normalizing not necessarily Bonnie blues, but kind of normalizing being sexually liberated within society, women dressing up however they want upon the digital social medias or what have you. Men are incorrectly putting, you know, a woman in a woman category who is a wife versus a hoe. They have been incorrectly doing it. They are not privy to the red flags. They treat all women the same, rose-colored glasses, so much to the extent of I will watch men show up to a club or a bar and then a girl that they hugging up on is goddamn half naked with her damn areolas showing and her ass cheeks out. And he thinks that that is a flex. That just goes to show you how confused some of these young men are. So without you purposefully understanding if a woman is a fork versus a woman is a spoon versus if a woman is a knife, right? You got to categorize them correctly before you ever take them seriously. That was a fantastic point. Let's listen to just a little bit more.
Let's take the virginities. I'm obsessed with it.
Why are you obsessed with taking boys' virginities?
Well, just like how Andrew likes 18-year-old.
Wait.
Okay.
Careful. Careful now.
Sorry, try to go
I'm
younger.
under investigation. What I have said.
Andrew, 18 is a legal age. I don't know what you class as legal.
No,
but
18 is legal. You're right.
Yeah.
But the reason actually, and it's interesting you said this, but the reason men prefer younger women is because they have less history. That's why.
Yeah.
The average 22-year-olds live less life than the average 30-year-old. That's why men prefer younger women in general.
Exactly.
But sorry to interrupt you, but I'm just clarifying because everything gets clip farmed and before you know it, you know, I'm back in handcuffs.
So not 18, 19. But I'd happily take an 18-year-old on their birthday. Like
Why?
closer to 18. I just want them, you know, to be young, innocent. I want to strip them from that. I want to
steal
take
their
their
innocence.
Can't
I want to
say that.
Yeah, she's saying.
Say that because if a guy said that,
Yeah.
oh, he's a pedophile and all that is so. That's the double standard, bro. She should be called a pedophile right now by saying that. Even though it is legal as hell, it is legal. But if a guy said that, creepy. He's hella creepy.
Well, here's the other thing. I'm guilty of it myself, but we actually have different categorical words for what that would be called, and it's not necessarily PDF files. So you got other. It would be under. I want to say it's closer towards a hebephile.
Hebephile.
Yes. Yeah.
What's a hebephile?
I want to say so there's like age groupings. Hebephile is what is that? Let me see real quick. 11 to 14. So even then that's not because PDF file is a different grouping. Okay, no, it would be I don't even know how to say this one. This Edmund an ephobophilia. So 15 to 19. So an ephobophile.
Okay.
We're doing some vocabulary right here today, guys. I see. Learning new words. So yeah, that PDF file actually is for extremely underage people. We throw this around way too way too loosely. Almost kind of like how, like, in the dating realm, they throw around the word narcissist. Like, everybody's a narcissist now. It's like clinically impossible. But yeah, the same thing that they do with PDF file. Like, it's just not like correct words that's being used. So really, if like they're 15 to 19 is actually not a PDF file, people. Like there's another word for that. And then if they're, 13 to 14, that's another categorical word used to express people that tend to go for that age demographic as well. So learning words.
Okay. She shouldn't be saying it. Well, she shouldn't be allowed to say it if men can't say that. I find that crazy.
Watch their toes curl up as they come for the first time from a girl. Like, I love that. And I also think it's educational. So I'm obsessed with it.
How's it educational?
You think about sex education at school. It's from a middle-aged teacher that's not been laid. And they basically say you have sex or you're probably going to die from an STD. There's no information. If anything, they should whip up one of my DVDs, put it on screen and show, look, that's how the dick enters the play. This is how you get a girl wet. There's none of that. So me having sex with them shows this is a woman's body. Yes, a woman's, Andrew, not trans. And
I don't think you're trans.
And
we'll come to that.
They don't know how to pleasure a girl. They've not touched a girl. They've just watched videos, online where they're slapping, they're choking, they're hair pulling. And then they go to do it on a woman or a girl for the first time. She's probably going to cry the next day.
Yeah, you're probably going to get a criminal charge of that. You're probably going to get sued if that happens.
Probably need to talk from experience there. But
by the way, I don't think that she actually believes look at Andrew's face. I don't think that she actually believes any of this. I mean, the level of cope to believe that having a dude do it with you is somehow you've got thousands of bodies, right? Like to do it with you is somehow educating them is absolutely absurd to me. But I think that what's actually happening here is that it's a marketing tactic, right?
I was thinking
so she'll say barely legal as a way to propagate her content more, right? Have more of these people up on the social medias, do content about her, right? It's just a marketing ploy. And it's one that she's acting as if she actually believes in order to get more dollars from it. When you watch content like this, really breaking down why you are, right? Like, and it's because it's entertaining. And it's entertaining because, they might be going against status quo, but watching her try to explain it like this, while Tate is playing 4D chess right here, right? Like, because he can he's turning it back on her with all of his sarcasm and all of his trolling, while also saying no to certain things that could get him in even more trouble. I just think it is so entertaining. It is so fascinating. But guys, listen, I think that this is a good place here to stop the content. But again, what I find so interesting is that, if you look at the demeanor of the guy that's hosting the podcast, you could tell that he went in there thinking that this was going to be Andrew Tate versus Bonnie Blue, right? Andrew talking about how she's ridiculous, Bonnie Blue defending herself and then trying to flip the script as much as possible. And he came in with I essentially call the Charleston White method, right? Be as egregious as what you can, troll as much as what you can, put it in content form so that you can hold a mirror up to what is actually happening or the ridiculousness that we have allowed the clown word society to get into. I'm gonna leave a link to the content down in the description box down below. We're about 25% through of it. So go up there, finish out the content. Let me know what you guys think about it as well. And also I want to leave you guys with this question. We got influencers, right? We got content creators like her that is propagated all throughout our media. We got the current marriage rate, divorce rate. We got the single mother rate, right? Single father rate. We know that 25% of women are going to get married throughout their lifetime. What do you guys think about all of this, right? We know corn is going into the AI realm, which is going to get crazy here in a couple of years. What do you guys all think of this? Do you think that we will never see the population growth or the family building that we've ever seen within our history before? Or is there some...
yeah, I'm done here and what he has to say. No, this was a great video, good video, very interesting topics that we came out of it. Oh, you put the words in there. Awesome.
Yes. So the categorically, we are always using the wrong category of words to define people. Like usually when you hear about like men or a woman, especially like teachers. And it's like this teacher, she's messing with a high school kid, and immediately you're like, oh, she's a PDF file. And it's like, whoa. Wait, we actually have a word that like will accurately describe what that sexual interest is. It's not PDF file unless they fall under the age of 11. And so you'll find that, they'll talk about, oh, these guys, they're always liking these young girls. They are all PDF. No, that's not quite correct. Like there's a categorical difference in what they are sexually interested in. And so you have those the hebophiles and the ephebophiles. Yeah. So that's more of what they're finding is actually the ephebo files and not the PDF files. So
very good to know. Very good to know. So with that being said, everybody, great video. Had a lot of fun with it. I've been out of town the last couple of weeks, so I apologize for the lack of videos lately, but I'll be back in town next week, and should be back on a semi-regular schedule for some more of these. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, jump in the comments. We got some cool comments in there. Definitely put your thoughts in there too. Some of the questions we asked. Would you erase your partner's memory file if you had the chance to?
Yes. Would you request to have your partner delete their prior memory files? If you could go back into like a Black Mirror kind of episode where you had like a little neuron link where you could keep memories of previous partners, would you ask your current partner to delete files of their previous partners?
That's a good one to think about. Really think about that.
Wait. I never got your answer on that. Now I'm curious. What would be your stance? Well, we're getting ready to wrap up.
Honestly, I'm not sure. I'm kind of torn. If I had to choose one, if I absolutely had to choose one, I would probably, I guess, yes, yeah, right, yeah. But the only thing is, I don't know how much that would help. I don't know if it would help anything because it still happened. It doesn't change the happening. It just changes your ability to go back to it
and recall it. Yeah, it happened to them.
What it reminds me of? It reminds me of like an adopted child. It's like the child was adopted. They never had memories of their parent or whatever because they never had any memories to create.
But they want to meet them.
They will want them as soon as they find out.
Yeah.
Oh, you were adopted. This is your parent. It's like I want to go meet them. Yep. It's like the memories don't have to be there for you to have that connection. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's a good one.
So that's why I'm just like, does it matter? That's why I would kind of be like, no, I wouldn't erase it or whatever, because that's their memory, that's their experience. It's not mine. It's theirs to share or to cherish or to give up or whatever. It would be a very selfish and personal thing for me. This is just me saying it, for me to request that. It would have to be something that they came to me and was like, I want to do it, and I would feel better about it because to me that would show that they are relinquishing that connection, or they no longer have it. But if I have to ask you to do it, then I don't even want it.
That's a great clarification. Like, would you want them to want to erase them?
Right.
Like, yeah, because if you're just like, hey, I want you to erase them, you kind of like, you didn't really force them, but most people will say you're forcing them to do it. Yeah, I can see that. It's
a social obligation now because it's now you're just to be asked the question puts you in a bad place because it's one, you feel like there's a threat by me having these memories if I keep them, or two, if I don't keep them, you know, it's either way. It doesn't matter. It's
Yeah,
like,
it's a double-edged sword. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. And it's
yeah,
like,
man. So
you want them to come to you and say, hey, look, by the way, we're getting ready to get married in 2 weeks. I'm just gonna go ahead and delete my past partner file. And then wait, here's another one. Yeah, we got great questions. If they came to you and said they were going to do that, does it now pressure you to do the same?
Undoubtedly so, yes. I think the pressure is there, but I don't think it's required as much, because for me to come to you and to say I'm gonna paint the house blue because I love you. Ooh, bars. Because I love you. Then it's like, thank you. But that doesn't mean I have to go paint the house blue too, bro. Like, you did that because that's what you felt like.
Yeah, but I think people do that, right? So people will say, like, for instance, the I love you. It's highly debated on whether the man or the woman should say it first. And then a lot of people will say, like, well, if you say it, are you expecting the other person to say it in return? So if I, like, for instance, like if a woman was like, hey, I'm gonna, I got the neuron link, I'm getting ready to delete all of my, previous partner videos. Is she coming to you to just let you know this is what she's doing, or is she coming to you and presenting it like, and I'm wanting you to delete yours too?
See, now that becomes an air of insecurity, though, because now to require me to do it is you feel threatened by it. Whereas if you're paying attention, this is why I think the difference is like, if you're paying attention to our experiences together, because again, we're just dating, we're in the courtship, we're figuring each other out, seeing if we like each other enough to want to spend the rest of our lives together. And you're going to pick up on things that I like or don't like. It's like, oh man, he likes this, he likes that, or whatever. And again, this is where the memories will come in with the experience part. Now I'm tying in our other conversation. Okay, I know from my experience with this other guy, he's going to like this, he might like this, or whatever. I'm going to do these things. I've already figured it out with the other guy, but I'm with you. So I'm going to use my memory chip to figure that out. But I see also that it bothers you that, you're more traditional and all this kind of stuff. So I know it's going to mean more to you that I erase my files. So you're kind of stuck. It's like, dang, I think it would mean more if I erase my files. So I erase my files, but now I can't give you that experience that I know you would like. But maybe I can build that up with you. But I'm going to come to you like, hey, I love you. And I want to show you that I care and I'm listening, I'm looking. So I'm going to erase my memory files. Just know that it comes with this. You don't have to do anything right now in your time. But at the same time, to even get to that point, it should be a healthy amount of time that we've spent with each other. It shouldn't be like after a month, I'm erasing my memory files, bro.
Yeah.
Like, no, it should be.
No, I'm saying this is definitely, it has progressed to the marriage talk. This is
progressed to the marriage talk.
Yeah.
They should both be erasing the files without even asking.
Okay.
And coming to each other and saying, I erase the files at the same time. It's like, you erase your file, I erase my files too. Oh, we erase that file. Oh, it should be like that. That's how it should be.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? How it should be, there should be no files to begin with for either one of them. That's how it should be. But the best case scenario is both of y'all coming together and erasing both of y'all's files.
Yeah. Perfect case scenario. Y'all are building your files together. Realistically, right? We gotta speak on, what's more realistic is that, yes, they should both then just come to each other and say, hey, we're at this point in our relationship where I'm not looking at anyone else. I don't see anyone else but you. And I am going to delete all previous files of other people. Yeah.
Yeah. Without obligation. You shouldn't be obligated to feel like you should do it. You should want to do it on your own.
Yeah.
But
man, if technology ever got to that point, man, it is crazy. It would be crazy.
I would feel some kind of way about it. Like I don't. That's why the best choice would be to erase the files. But at the same time, I still have some kind of reservation about that because that's their files, you know. I don't know. That's their experience. It's their files. It's what built them up. And it's a whole different subject at this point, you know. But it's an important one in that, you know, they did this thing for a reason. They were finding themselves or whatever. Maybe one of those file memory cards or whatever was a person that they really thought there was going to be a marriage. You know what I'm saying? There's good relationships out there that just don't work out. You know? I'm just saying. You know how this is, like high school sweetheart, y'all together, y'all get out, and then you're doing, you know, get married, and then next thing you know, it doesn't work out.
I don't know about that. Like,
I'm not even gonna use the die. My husband died. I'm not even using that one. I'm saying it don't work out.
And I don't know if that's necessarily the case in a majority of failed relationships. I see what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying.
A natural way of things.
Like, okay, they both were really good boyfriend and girlfriend to one another, but one went to one school in another state, and another one went to another school in another state, and they decided amicably to just be like, look, the distance isn't going to, it's not going to work.
Distance.
I'm going to wish for you the best. Let's just remain friends, and I'm not going to, you know, try to keep fighting for this thing because it might not survive the test of distance. And so they both on good terms break up. I don't think that's a lot of relationships, though.
I think it's more than you think. Maybe not in distance, but life stressors happen where everything was good. And think about think about it like this. What if it was that one person, right? And y'all were good together for like, let's say 8 years. Let's throw out a number, 8 years. That one person that were with that whole time, they did everything. They did everything. And nothing's left on the table.
Okay. All right.
And they maybe get a new job or something. You can't handle it, become alcoholic and whatever. And I'm gonna say him. It's his fault. He became alcoholic and left her. Or she left him. She just could not deal with it anymore. She gets with you. Now you're the second person, and we got the technology. And she can do it all, bro. She can do it all. She done learned from the best. But you know, it was one person, and it was a long-term relationship, and it wasn't distance, it wasn't death, it wasn't anything other than
substance abuse.
I would say it could be anything, any life event that changed the dynamics where they just could not survive in each other.
But see, they didn't end on a good term. I'm saying I don't think there's very many relationships that ended on a good term where it's like,
that's an oxymoron. Nothing ends on a good term. No relationship ends on a good term. Then it wouldn't end.
That's what was confusing me, because you're saying, like, you know, there's relationships that didn't have to be bad, and I'm like,
right.
The fact that they end was meant that it was bad.
Oh, so what I was trying to describe was not. I was trying to describe that not every body count, not every body is a whimsical, you know, immature thing, you know. Okay. Some of them are legit, like, hey, I tried to keep it to just one person for the rest of my life, versus some is like, yeah, I threw about 10, 12 bodies on that thing, you know.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, would you really make them require them to erase that good memory?
Yeah, when they were always intending on being in a committed relationship.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You know what I
I
mean?
see what just like they were like, look, I was always pursuing wanting to be the best girlfriend, the best fiance, the best wife.
Right.
The other party didn't fulfill their side of the obligations.
Right.
All right. That could be an
tricky.
argument for that.
It's
But
tricky.
here's the thing.
Yeah.
You're making a good argument for it. The problem is I have not heard any other woman make that same argument for that. The only thing they say is the past shouldn't matter. That's it. Full stop.
And I'm trying to build a past matters for, yes, it matters, why you tried, this is a good pass, but I can't make it all matter, bro. Not all passes matter.
Yeah.
All
right. Okay. All right.
I tried.
You tried. You tried.
No, that was a great conversation. That was a good little mind juggle there. But anything else before we go?
No, this was good. I didn't even realize it went as long as it did.
Yeah, about 3 hours, right at 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
All right, y'all. Like I said, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment down below. Check out the rest of our videos on this channel and also at I Am Cartoons, working on episode 2 of Philandroids coming soon. Check out Closet Anime. Got some good content over there. Talking about some anime, right?
Yep. Anime reviews.
Yes, sir. All right. Appreciate it, y'all. I'll talk to you later.
Later.